Welcome back to Supporting Autism Speed Event 2021. Again, my name is Gamer017. I am here for the Ghost of Tsushima run. That estimate is correct on the bottom of the screen. This is going to be a long one, so settle in, get a drink, get ready for some wonderful gameplay from Ashma, and take it away.
All right. Hello, everyone. Like you just heard, I am Ashma. I'm gonna be running Ghost of Tsushima for you, and with me, I have another member of the community to help me on commentary. If you would like, and introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello guys. I am Charlatan, and yeah, I also run this game on the easiest difficulty. So it's always a pleasure to be here with Ashma in this novel cause.
Yeah, but as we will soon learn, difficulty in this game is more of a mindset. But since we have about 3.5 hours to talk about this game, why don't we go ahead and just jump into the run? And if I remember correctly, the horse name is still up for grabs if you guys want to go ahead and donate money for that. For the time being, I would just go ahead with Kage, the Shadow, for now. So I guess we can get this on going. So if you are ready to start the timer, I will do a countdown from 3. That is okay?
Just go ahead, count down when you're ready.
All right. In that case, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So, like I said, this will be on the Lethal Plus difficulty, which is the highest difficulty this game has to offer. However, as speedrunners, we have quite a few ways and tricks up our sleeve to basically circumvent the whole difficulty thing altogether, more or less. Because as it turns out, and if you have a look at the leaderboards for this game, the times for runs in this category on different difficulties are not even a minute apart, and that is simply just to do RNG and not because of the difficulty themselves. So yeah, difficulty really is just a mindset in this game, you know, you just gotta get through with it. However, having said that, you will definitely notice the difference in difficulty if things start to go wrong. So let's hope that that will not be the case in this run.
Yeah, I will say that the difficulty show the most when you are in duels, because the whole game with like characters are like the fights. Like Ash says, is we have some tricks and some stuff to do, but in the duels, where you can really see the difference between the difficulties, because the attacks are more fast and you have less time to respond, like for a parry or something like that. But yeah, difficulties have a lot of things in common.
Quick aside there, I actually dread playing this game on easy difficulty because, as Charlton just said, what the difficulty basically does is, of course, it increases the damage that you take. However, it also makes the enemies more aggressive and their attacks come out faster, so the animation is basically sped up for their attacks. And what that means is, if you are used to playing on the higher difficulties and, you know, dodging, blocking, and parrying those fast attacks, and you switch to a lower difficulty, and it's basically like every enemy is fighting underwater or something. Like, their attacks are so slow that personally it screws up my whole parry timing against enemies, and I absolutely hate it. That actually makes the easiest difficulty the hardest for me in a way, because my whole parry window, my whole muscle memory goes out the window at this point.
Riding well.
But yeah, you can basically think of these duels as the boss fights in the game. We will have quite a few a bit later on. It takes us a while to get to the first boss fight, actually, because most of the duels are actually in the side quests of the game. There are 24 duels in the game. However, you only do 5 of them in the main quest. The other 19 are all in side quests. So sadly, you won't see a lot of those, but I guess you will be in for a treat once you get to those. Yeah, go ahead.
Of those 5, 3 of them are like crazy scripted of speedrunning, which are basically the same in every category. Only the 2 final ones are the only ones that you can really like show your skill, like your real skill for duels.
Yeah, because they will be over pretty fast without trying to spoil too much here. Because, you know, speedrunning. Speaking of which, let's actually maybe go into the difference between a new game speedrun and a new game plus speedrun of this game. There are basically 3 main differences. The first of which is, if you know the game, you might have noticed that we completely skipped the prologue of the game. You know, the introductory to the story, the basic gameplay tutorials, all of that gets skipped outright if you are playing in New Game Plus. And in a speedrun setting, that saves about 40 to 42 minutes of time. So it's really nice that we just skip that outright. The second advantage is we can actually skip all of the game's cutscenes. You cannot do that on a new game run of the game. You have to watch every single cutscene. And over the course of the whole game, that again saves about 2 hours and 10 minutes. So with those two combined, since, you know, there are still cutscenes in the prologue, it's about a 2.5 hour time save out of the gate just because you're playing on New Game Plus. And the third main advantage, of course, is since this is a New Game Plus category, we carry over all of our previously unlocked armors, skills, upgrades, and whatnot from our previous playthrough into this New Game Plus playthrough. So we are basically at end game power levels right from the start.
Yeah, and that make the whole game really, really fast because Ghost of Tsushima is an interesting game because most of the useful like skills that you get that from side quests. So the new game category is just going with your sword to kill everybody, like
Yeah.
your sword and your bow. But as you can see, as you are going to see in this run, we exploit like bomb and fire and explosives, and that's how we get to the game like a lot faster than a new game.
Yeah. Just for comparison's sake, a New Game Plus speedrun, like if you look at the estimate, will take you around 3.5 hours. Where if you're playing a new game speedrun from a fresh save file, that will take you between 7 and 8 hours. You know, just because you have to watch these 2.5 hours on cutscenes and do the prologue and are not at endgame power levels and stuff like that. So that's the massive difference in time investment. However, personally, I gotta say, I think that the new game speedrun is a little bit more interesting to me, just because we will actually have more sword fighting and stuff. Like, as you will see in a couple minutes here, we do stuff a little bit differently when it comes to the fights on New Game Plus. Actually, whenever you see me use the sword up around the 20-minute mark, I want to say, that is gonna be slow. So I actually want to use my sword as little as possible and actually use basically everything else. So yeah, whenever I go one-on-one with an enemy with my sword, you basically could say that's a time loss already. Not exactly, but, you know, roundabout.
Yeah, and so New Game Plus, you, as Ash says, you have all your gear and just all your stuff. So as you can see now, Jean has the ghost armor on, and this is the armor that we're going to be using most of the run, and is crafted in some way that enemies are going to get defeated a lot quicker with the terrifying skill that Jean has, which is that if you have a group of enemies and one get killed, you have a chance for the rest of the enemies to get scared of that, and they are going to run away and they count as defeated. So you don't have to kill like 5 enemies. You have to kill like 1 or 2 and hope for all the other guys are going to run away, and so you kill a lot less people in this run.
Yeah, it's basically whenever you kill an enemy, you have a high chance that another will just get terrified and run away straight up. Keep in mind though that that is only a percentile chance. We actually equip the ghost armor with specific charms that raises that chance, and at the best of times it is a 90% chance for another enemy to run away once we kill, you know, another enemy. However, you know, there is still a 10% chance of failure, and that is just where the RNG in this run will come in. Like, how many enemies will run away when I kill one? Like, will it be 1, will it be 2, will it be none? And as you can probably imagine, if less enemies run away, that will always be a time loss, because I then have to go out of my way to kill even more enemies. So basically, what I want to do in the run, or as a runner, is to maybe kill one, maybe two enemies, and hopefully the rest of them will just be running away by that point.
Yeah, and you want to like use fire or you use explosive because yeah, the charms that we have on the armor give more chances if you use fire. So yeah, the whole thing is made for people to get scared about guys on fire, which I personally think is fair. Being scared of that.
Yeah, as you will see, we will start using quite a lot of our tools that we have at our disposal a little bit into the run, because even though we unlocked all the capacity upgrades and stuff for our, you know, arrows and bombs and whatnot, the game is not nice enough to give us any of those when we start the new game. So even though we still have the capacity upgrades, we basically have 0 arrows, 0 bombs, and all of our other tools. So we have to go around and pick those up at the start of each new run, or, you know, go to a merchant and buy something, but we don't have any supplies to actually buy stuff with, so we basically start out with nothing. And that is why the first 2 quests are kind of the hardest in a speedrun, because you have very little tools at your disposal to take control of a given situation.
Yeah, and even though you have some loot, consistent loot, the amount of things that you can get are also kind of RNG. So even though you know that, oh, I have a bundle of arrows here, those arrows could be not the arrows that you need.
Yeah, you will see that actually in a moment here once I have done this archery training, because this is the point in the story where you would get the bow. You will see me pick up some arrows from the ground once we reach kind of an overlook there, and there will be a couple bundles of arrows lying around, and it is completely random what kind of arrows they are. There can be 4 kinds of arrows: the normal arrows, fire arrows, heavy arrows, or the explosive arrows. And I want to get as many fire and explosive arrows from those bundles as possible. However, the higher the difficulty is that you play on, the worse your luck basically is of getting those good arrows. Like if you're playing on easy, and picking those arrows up will basically fill up your whole inventory with all kinds of arrows. However, if you're playing on lethal difficulty, as I am right now, you are very lucky if you get, like, you know, 2 fire and 2 explosive arrows and a couple of the others.
I'll find a way in. Survey the battlefield. What can we use to our advantage?
Yeah, so basically so if you take like a sum of best of a runner, you are going to see like a huge difference between the PvE and the sum of best, because in the sum of best you have all the goals with all the good luck, with all the good RNG, very good loot, very good RNG of enemies by terrifying them. So even though Ghost of Tsushima is kinda RNG basis, it also required a lot of skill, because then you have to adjust to the things that you get and try to be faster, even though you have like less things.
So this is where I will now pick up these arrows that I mentioned earlier, and I will check my arrows now. I got 3 fire arrows and 2 explosive arrows, which is good. You know, that's not a lot, but that is exactly the amount that I need to be able to continue on without having to do a shopping trip after this quest. So we are set up. We can continue on and make this fast as well. Basically, the way that the fights in this game will play out is that we have a general strategy in mind of what to do at the beginning. And once we are done with this strategy, everything will just turn a bit into chaos, as we have to check up how many enemies are still around, and we will have to come up with our own strategy from there on how to proceed, as you can basically see here in a moment once I get into this fortress. Now all of these archers are bunching up behind there, so not a lot will actually get hit by these explosive arrows, so I will already have to go out of my way to kill this guy, and Jin absolutely refuses to hit the guy who was standing, and he rather steps the others. So this is actually kind of bad, because they didn't get hit by this explosive arrow, like, at all. So already have to do a little bit of a cleanup work here. Okay, I think we got rid of everybody. Yes, we did. Okay. So yeah, as you saw, you kind of have to be on your toes to quickly assess the situation and see, are there still enemies around? Where are they? Where do I have to go to kill them to actually, resolve this encounter and proceed on with the game? And that is where the time loss can come in, as Charlton just said, where your goals can be very different from the split that you're getting at this particular moment, because the one enemy that is the furthest away in this whole encounter did not run away, and you have to run all across the fort or the battlefield to get to him and kill him, and that of course loses time.
A scroll.
Yeah, so we're doing here the tale of Sensei Ishikawa. So basically, Ghost of Tsushima has three acts, and you have like a main objective in every act, and in this act you have to rescue your uncle, which is the Dude of Tsushima. So you are like gathering people, and you are here with Sensei Ishikawa, asking him to join your objective, which is again rescuing Lord Chimura. And every character that we are going to meet have a whole storyline, which is like a side quest, but we only need to do the first one, so he's going to join us in the final battle.
So basically the story setup is that the Mongols invaded the Japanese island of Tsushima and killed every samurai but Jin, the main protagonist that we are playing as, and his uncle, Lord Shimura, who is the lord of the island. And Lord Shimura is being held captive in Castle Kaneda. And in the prologue that we skipped because we're playing on New Game Plus, Jin tried to rescue his uncle by himself, assaulting a whole castle alone. And that didn't turn out quite so well, so now he's trying to gather allies to help him do that. And Sensei Ishikawa is basically the first one that we recruit for our cause here. So we helped him around with some stuff, but that is basically all that we are going to do for him. And then we are gonna go ahead and try to recruit another person.
Yeah, I really like this concept of beating people, and then they have like a whole another quest alongside, and I think each one has his things, and they are really interesting and fun to play.
Yeah, they're definitely very well written. Like, I really like the side quest content with your allies, because every one of those quest lines is actually also different. Like, if you're doing side quests with Sensei Ishikawa, you will notice that they are all, built around you doing a lot of archery work, because he is the archer type character of the crew. Whereas if you're following around, let's say, Yuna, who is a thief, it's more about sneaking and trying to evade enemy detection, stuff like that. So it really plays into each character there really well.
Yeah, and every story is the tale of Sensei Ishikawa. It's not like the quest of Sensei Ishikawa. So you have a whole story. It's not like, oh yeah, this camp is here, go there and clean the camp, which is like basically most of the side quests in games. But you here are getting like a whole story, which is really, really good. I think that Ghost of Tsushima has like great storytelling in their quests.
And the game is just beautiful. I mean, look at all these environments. Like, these forests are feeling like really good. Like, the whole photo mode, like, people just play this game to take photos, With the whole pandemic still going on, this game is basically as good as going on vacation sometimes. For sure. Anyway, we are story-wise making our way over to the Adachi estate. Now, Clan Adachi was a allied samurai clan to, Clan Shimura and Clan Sakai. But, of course, they also have been, wiped out, but we are still full of hope that at least some survivors are holding out in the Adachi estate. So we will check on them and see if we get some more allies from there. And over there it already is, so let's shout around, see if somebody answers the door or something.
Clan Adachi's estate. Lady Masako should be here. Lady Masako! Warriors of Clan Adachi! Is anyone here? Kill him!
Oh, that's a bit of a rude welcome. I'm just looking for people and they want to kill me. What the hell is going on here?
Not Mongols. and not
Yeah, so
bandits.
that movement that you guys saw is called Dance of Wrath, and it's basically 3 strikes that can kill an enemy if the damage is enough. Um, and it's like you only can use that on New Game Plus because again, for getting that you need to do a side quest on New Game. And yeah, you are going to see that a lot of times for killing enemies, but there is another curious use for that you are going to see later.
Someone fled the estate.
The interesting fact is, using the Dance of Wrath, you saw me kill these 3 enemies with 1 strike each. If you're playing this on medium plus or hard plus difficulty, it actually takes 2 strikes to kill an enemy there. So you will only kill one and a half enemies basically by doing that. And that is where some minor, changes in the strategy will come in if you're playing this on another difficulty.
Dead for days.
Because the interesting fact is that, yes, the game gets harder the higher up you go in the difficulty levels. There's easy, medium, hard, and then lethal. However, on lethal difficulty, you can actually think of that every strike does critical damage if you're thinking of it in RPG terms. So not only do the enemies do more damage to me, but I'm also doing way more damage to them. So that makes the fights really interesting because this is basically a one-hit KO mode in a way.
That's how it ended for me at Komoda.
So,
Yeah,
when things go sour, they go sour really fast.
Yeah, and here we meet Lady Masako or Lady Massacre. And yeah, basically some guys kill his whole family, and now she's the tale of Lady Masako is basically get revenge and like investigate who killed his whole clan. And because we are going to help Lady Masako doing that, she's going to join us at the end as well with Tensei Shigawa.
You can't blame yourself.
Yeah, she's basically our next recruit, so to speak. So we'll ride up to this temple here and have a look around, because she basically sends us on a bit of an errand quest here. Gather some info in the temple and pick up some things. And this is actually the point in the game where you would get your first quote-unquote real armor. Because when you start the game, Jin only has the broken samurai armor on, because of reasons that happen in the prologue. And the broken samurai armor is, as the name implies, not very good. Like, it offers very little defense. So if you're starting out the game, you will notice that you will quickly die if you go into an open confrontation. And the samurai armor, on the other hand, offers up a lot of defensive stats like increased armor and health and stuff like that. Which is, nice for casual playthrough because you're getting your first real fighting chance. However, in a speedrun setting, it is absolutely useless because, as I said, it only offers up defensive stats, and we are all about the offense because we want to go fast. So we will immediately switch it out for the ghost armor again.
Yeah, and you see Jin there walking on the corpses, and now we meet Lady Masako here, which is like a bad boy with his arm with cross and into the tree, like, what up?
It's true. It's true.
Visited my home just before the assassin.
Asking for the lunch money for Jin, something like that.
Oh, I hope she doesn't take my supplies. I need those. Well, later at least.
Arrived from Kamiagata at the beginning of autumn.
When we first heard them,
So Lady Masako has some suspicions about a monk in the temple that we talked to earlier. So we actually told him that, hey, Lady Masako is still alive, and now he suspiciously wants to leave the temple. So, what could he be up to?
To his den. You can get down
So this is an interesting trailing section, because we are now supposed to follow Sogen to his hideout. However, he will always go down the same path no matter what. And, you know, since this is New Game Plus and we played the games multiple times already, we know exactly where he's gonna go. So we don't actually have to follow him. We can just, you know, lead him along, so to speak. However, as you can see on screen, there are various timers that are counting down. One is if I get too far away from Sogun, the game will count me out. And once the timer reaches 0, it will actually be game over and I have to do this over again. The other timer is if I can't see Sogun anymore. So you do want to keep in a certain range around Sogun. However, you want to basically be around the edge of that radius to, you know, make this go a little bit faster, because as it turns out, only we have to get to the next quest marker, not him. So what we want to do here is we want to wait for him until he's right around this rock there, just about. Now we can kind of see him here in the listen mode. There he comes with his red outline. And he is right around there. So now we will just hightail it as fast as we can to the next quest trigger. And then we can actually proceed with the main quest without having to wait for him to actually get there. So let's see if I can actually make it over there. Yeah.
And it's funny because then you have like a cinematic, and those guys are supposed to be talking to Sogen, but Sogen is not there. So it's really fun to... They're talking with nobody because, yeah, we skip the whole thing.
Yeah. So, you know, because you made that work, basically this is your reward with a little bit of a glitch dialogue, so to speak.
So this is a mechanic that you learn on the tutorial, but it's the first time that we saw it here, which is the standoff. And it's basically like you go there and like say to the guys, okay, let's do this way, and you only can do one, but with the armor that Jin has, you can do up to 3. And yeah, that's also a one hit death. And again, we are going to be using explosives and waiting for the enemies to get terrified with all the killing, and so you don't have to kill anybody.
Sogen went inside the inn. Let's go.
That went about as good as it could.
Nowhere to run, Sogen.
You destroyed Clan
And there is Sogen, and that was Sogen.
Find me when you're done.
He's dead now. So that is something that you will see happen over and over during Lady Masako's questline, that you track down one of the conspirators that killed off her whole family, and you confront him or her, and you know, you have a little chat with them, and then Lady Masako is like, ah, and kills the person in cold blood. And that is, as Charlton already said, the reason why we call Lady Masako Lady Massacre. Or Murder Granny, if that is more up your alley. Yeah, whatever. I think people started liking the name Murder Granny a little bit more. I don't know why, because I like Lady Massacre, but whatever.
Yeah, so, and again, in the same way with Sensei Chikawa, Lady Masako has a whole story, but we only are going to do the first quest, so we kinda unlock Murder Granny for the final battle.
Yes, we do.
Some say they know every secret on this island.
And we have a long ride to the next part here, so if somebody want to maybe plug something.
Love to. I don't have any new donations as of right now, but I can remind you that we do still have the incentive to name the horse later on in the run. Again, right now we've got a name that we're using, but we can change that at one point, so you can get your donations in for that. As well as just a reminder, you are watching Supporting Autism Speed Event 2021, supporting the Organization for Autism Research, and all donations go straight to OR.
That is awesome. So I guess you can just have a look at this wonderful scenery right here with the deer just casually, well, not casually anymore because they now notice me, running away. But this is another kind of RNG part of the run because it's actually pretty empty at the moment. But there definitely can be Mongol patrols out on the streets around here. And depending where they spawn, you will actually have to, circumvent them by riding around them. And depending on where they spawned along the road, that can actually lose you a little bit of time here and there, because you definitely do not want to get off your horse and start fighting them, because, why would you? There is nothing to gain from that. So you have to ride around them, and especially if they have archers with them, those can very easily shoot you off the horse. And once you have been shot down from your horse, it is very hard to actually get back on it to continue riding wherever you need to go to. Now, Charlton, you actually found out something with the smoke bombs that you can do to make that a little bit easier. I remember right?
Yeah, so basically when you are like with battle music, like the clearly appearing music that appears when you are on battle, you can call the horse, but the horse is too scared to come to you, so you have to like get away enough of the battle or just kill everybody so the battle music stops, and then you can get in your horse. But yeah, recently I found that if that happened, that hopefully it's not going to happen, you can throw a smoke bomb, and because Jin is like out of combat, quote unquote, then you can call your horse while in the middle of the smoke bomb, and then the horse is going to come to you, and you're going to be able to like run away. So this is a nice backup that is going to prevent like a normal run not to be a terrible run. But you don't really want to get spotted by Mongol patrols.
It's like the smoke bombs are probably one of the most interesting tools that we have because of their property to instantly drop you out of combat, and that basically leads to some interesting situations in a speedrun setting, because it allows us to, well, not exactly sequence break stuff, but to make things happen a little bit faster than they should be able to be done, basically. Which is actually pretty nice, because in speedrunning terms, it basically lets us skip stuff. And skipping stuff basically makes it go faster.
Yeah, basically you have to like do stuff by killing everybody, because there is a prompt that you can't use unless there is nobody else there. But if you threw the smoke bomb, the game is thinking, oh yeah, so you are not being seen by anybody. So that means that you are alone, so yeah, use the prompt.
Yep.
And that's really nice.
Alright. Now we're meeting Kenji. Kenji is a sake brewer, merchant, swindler type of character, and he will actually allow us to get into Elizamo Bay, where supposedly Yuna's brother is being held prisoner that we want to rescue, because we also want to recruit him for our cause here. So we will have a little walk with our allies over to Port Azamo Bay, sorry. And there's a very peculiar thing happening around here. Because
you love showing this.
Yeah, I do. Because you can just skirt around the edge where the game allows you to be. And if I do that correctly, Kenji is very adamant that a few people fought back. So basically what happens there, once you run out of the range of your allies and they, walk back into it, Kenji's voice lines just keep on repeating over and over. The interesting thing is it only happens with Kenji's voice lines, so if you let the dialogue advance to either Jin or Yuna saying something and you walk out of the range again, the dialogue will actually advance. However, when it comes back to Kenji, it will repeat itself again. So there is something very peculiar going on with the way this particular conversation is programmed. Also, this is the only break, basically, that we get in the run. So we are gonna take this time to stretch a little bit, because we still have about 3 hours left in the run to go. So, make the most out of it here.
Yeah, this is also, the only P break, by the way. So, if you want to join, maybe if the bathroom is close enough. So if you want to join Ghost of Tsushima, the community, you need to know that this is the only part where you the only free time in the whole run.
Which is actually interesting because it's a little bit more lenient if you're running the new game category of the game, because as I said before, that is about a 7-hour run. But since you have to watch each and every cutscene in the main quests, there is always multiple longer cutscenes at the end of each act. So you're actually getting a pee break, so to speak, pretty regularly if you're doing the 7-hour run, which is actually pretty nice. Because there are definitely games out there that are, even longer and they don't give you a break at all. So, the developers were considerate, so to speak, even if they may not have known it at that point in time.
Yeah, so one thing that we haven't said is that Lady Masako and Sesshigawa from before the invasion, but Yuna is actually the person that rescued Jin from the battle. So that's where Jin meet Yuna, and Yuna is asking for his help to rescue his brother, which is a blacksmith. And you can imagine that a blacksmith in the context of a war is a really, really important asset.
Oh, nice. The slaver decided to immediately walk away. Now this, what I just did there is a little bit, iffy, I want to say, because he saw me climb on that roof and then inspect the slaver while he was looking at those slaves. What can happen there is if you trigger the inspection of the slaver where the camera zooms in on him and Yuna and Jin have their dialogue, if you do that at a quote-unquote wrong time, the slaver will just keep walking around those 3 slaves and doesn't actually move into the village here, and that more or less requires you to reload the checkpoint and lose a little bit of time, and that is always annoying when it happens. But this time he actually behaved and started walking immediately. So now we're gonna have a bit of an auto scroller here where we just follow this Mongol through town. There's nothing that you can do to speed this up, so we're just following around from the rooftops where he won't notice us. And coming up is actually, you've seen me do that during the run already a couple times, but we never actually explained what is gonna happen. But it is the JRPG, or the Japanese roly-poly ghost, or if you want another name for it, the Tumbleweed Samurai, as people are more likely to call it nowadays. And it's a very interesting technique that we can do in this speedrun to go fast.
Yeah, it's really, really useful. And yeah, we use it a lot on the speedrun. And people, I know that from people that saw that on the speedrun and now they use it a lot on their normal playthrough because it's a really useful thing to do, more so on the stealth part of the game.
Yeah. I mean, it basically lets us skip every stealth section in the game, like more or less completely, or at least make them very, very easy. So what we will do is, and this only works as long as you have not been detected by an enemy at all. Like as soon as you see these white bars crop up that an enemy has started spotting you, it won't work anymore. So as long as you are undetected, like completely undetected, you crouch down, as I do here. And what I will do in a moment, I will just start rolling, and I will hammer that circle button on my controller as hard as I can to keep on rolling. And as long as I do that, none of the enemies will ever see me. So you see all these Mongols here, and I'm basically in plain sight of everybody, but nobody so much as lifts a finger.
You can like hit them with your body and they are not gonna be aware of what you're doing.
Yeah, they are completely out of it. You are completely invisible to these guys. And like I said, there is no further trick to it. You just crouch down while you are undetected, you start rolling, and you just don't stop. Everybody playing this game can do it. It is laughably easy, but you can't deny its effectiveness.
Yeah, but as soon as soon as you are seen, it stops working. So
Yeah. And when they start spotting you, you will probably be in a very bad spot and immediately get a game over because you probably did it in a section where you were not supposed to be seen. So, you know, there is some caution to be had there, but as long as you just keep pressing that button, everything will be alright. No questions asked.
Kenji's waiting for us at the crossroads.
yeah.
Kenji's with you?
If he made it out alive.
So this is one of the only runs where you actually start noticing that this game has an invisible stamina bar. So as you can see, Jin started dropping his head. And once he does that, that is your signal that he is about to basically be out of stamina and he will stop running. However, what you can just do is, once you see that, you do a little sidestep, basically a dodge. And for whatever reason, that completely refills your stamina. And then you can just keep on running. So basically, imagine if you were playing a game like Dark Souls or whatever, and you were running, and you see your stamina bar going down, and before it is completely depleted, you do a roll, and for whatever reason, that refills your stamina completely. And that is awesome.
Yeah. And it's awesome how Ghost of Tsushima, if you can see, you have like no hub on the screen because like most of the things that like the route that you have to take or like here the stamina is shown by like in-game things. So you don't have like a bar. I am playing this Days Gone, so I imagine a blue bar of stamina, but yeah, so you have a visual cue of that, and I think that's really, really cool.
Also, the whole navigation, like you can always see the wind blow in a certain direction, and that is basically the in-game's navigation system telling you where to go, and it is very neatly woven into the aesthetic of the game, which is great.
Everyone all right?
I could use a drink and some sleep.
Yeah, definitely.
Help with one of those.
Definitely, like Sucker Punch did a great job with this game. As you can imagine, Ash and I are like a little bit biased to the game, but
Little bit.
it's definitely an awesome game. I love that concept of like having like a really minimalistic hub and all things in game to show you some stuff like the golden beards or the crickets, whatever. Is an awesome way to make a game.
They have a fort.
Alright, now we rescue Taka, so we have another merry member for our band here. So, what we will now do is, if you remember in the very first quest of the game, where we went to this prison camp together with Yuna to first search for Taka, we actually rescued the Strawhead Ronin, who told us that more of the Strawhead Ronin, which are basically mercenaries of a kind, are hiding out in the Kishi grasslands. So we will now go there and see if we can actually get some more allies for our cause.
Yeah, and another thing that you're going to see here maybe is that Aish is going to be picking some flowers. So you have purple flowers, which are the thing that you need for making poison darts. And this is also like a fun thing to say that you get the I mean, at the beginning you got the bow from Sensei Ishikawa, even though it was New Game Plus. So you already have the bow when you receive the bow, and now you have the blowgun. But you are gonna later in the run we're going to do a quest for getting the blowgun. So when you have some cinematics that are unskippable, and one of them is using the blowgun after getting the blowgun. So if you use the blowgun after that, you're gonna get a unskippable cutscene that obviously loses time. But if you use the blowgun before getting the blowgun, you are not getting that cutscene.
Yeah.
So we are going to use the blowgun before getting the blowgun and not later.
Yeah, because the game doesn't actually know that we have the blowgun, you know, mechanics-wise, and that is why we can still use it before we get that particular cutscene there. Oh, that dude was fast. I was not prepared for that.
This is for Komoda Beach. Kill them all.
And here we have another standoff, and there's going to be some enemies spawning behind. And Ghost of Tsushima also has a lot of like
Surround us.
in-game things that you can use for the enemies. Like Ash, for example, just shot a hornet's nest. So the enemies get stung by the insects, and they do a little bit of damage
Your
on the
form has
enemies.
improved.
But there you can also see what I meant with it is slow to fight enemies with a sword. Like I had to kill off 4 enemies after I shot the explosive arrow with my sword, and that shouldn't actually happen. Like normally I should only have to kill 1, maybe 2 tops. Now I had to kill 4, so you already know that I lost time there on that
I
split.
looked for you after the tournament ended.
Yeah, and that was the RNG that we were talking before. Like, yeah, in the best case scenario, you hit one guy and he dies, and all the enemies are scared. And oh, that was nice, a nice fight. And then you have this type when you have to kill almost everybody.
So basically what the script for that fight was to do the standoff, then roll to the archer, kill him, ready an explosive arrow, wait for the reinforcements to get near to that hornet's nest, shoot the explosive arrow at the hornet's nest, and from there on out it's RNG what is gonna happen. So, you know, you will then have to climb up the ridge and kill more enemies. However, you don't know how many, you don't know which type of enemies are still left standing. Like, will it be a brute? Will it be a shield type enemy? Will it be a commander? Like, basically everything can happen from that point onward. And that is where you just have to start and improvise what you do.
We can declare the Straw Hats a samurai clan and make you their lord.
Yeah, and here we met. I mean, we don't met. We re-encountered with Ryuzo, which is a Ronin that was a friend of Jin when they were kids. So yeah, Jin is going to help them to get food because, as we said, the island is under invasion. So obviously supplies and food and stuff like that are really scarce.
How many men do you have?
Yeah.
We're down by half, but still enough to call ourselves a small army.
I mean, this is now the story of getting Ryuzo a burger at this point, because it will come up quite a lot in this game that Ryuzo and his men are just hungry. They need some food. It's a bit of a running meme in the speedrunners community to get Ryuzo a burger. So he can finally start doing his job properly for us here, which is to defend the island.
Come with me, Jin. We should have talked about your idea before telling my men.
I wanted to give them hope.
That's my job.
Also, I just had a quick look at the chat and I spot John Shepard 104, one of the OG speedrunners of this game when New Game Plus wasn't even a thing. So hello there, John. And welcome. He's actually one of the guys who did the first speed routing for the game together with Remetsu, another speedrunner. So basically all of our New Game Plus routes and all of the strategies and whatnot in a way come from John's work that he did in the early days of the game. So glad to have you around here.
Men, we're moving out.
Yeah, interestingly enough, this game doesn't have even a year.
Yeah, it's slowly starting to get there. It was released in July of last year. So, you know, not that long off until its first anniversary.
Yeah, and I think that's an important thing to say. You see Ash running in the horse from A to B, but there is a lot of stuff that I will say is not yet like carved in stone, like the route, for example. We have 2 runners that made 2 different routes. I do a different route at the beginning of the game. So if you want to join the community again and like be working on that, yeah, the game has a lot of potential still for things that are being discovered day to day for making the Ghost of Tsushima faster and faster.
Now, also big props to Charlton because he actually came up with a lot of stuff, like especially with the smoke bombs and stuff that we now use in the route that basically nobody thought of doing before. So it's always nice, you know, to have a fresh set of eyes and a fresh mind come into a speedrun and just start thinking outside of the box, because everybody else at this point is probably doing the same things and not thinking about it anymore of how to do it more efficiently. So it's always nice to see new runners pick the game up and come up with new stuff, because it makes it also exciting for the quote-unquote old runners again, because they get to, you know, try out new stuff and not do the same things over and over.
They'll kill you.
If they do,
Yeah, thanks, man. That's sweet. Thanks.
take their food.
That's not fun.
I mean, you know, you basically told us, hey, why are you not using a smoke bomb there, but you're using it there, and all of us were like, oh yeah, we can totally do that. Why didn't nobody think of that?
I think that's it with all games. Like you have a new pair of eyes and a lot of stuff then is fine to that.
Alright, let's see if you can get Ryuzo or Burger here. Not looking good so far.
Need to signal the others. They'll see me like the brazier.
So what we will see now for the first time is the most broken tool that we have in our arsenal, and that is the black powder bomb. And the power of the black powder bomb just dwarfs everything else that we can use in the game, because it clears whole hordes of enemies at once.
Yeah, so basically we have a charm that put enemies on fire when they are hit with the smoke bomb, and we also have a perk that increases the area of the smoke bomb. I mean, of the black powder bomb. So basically you are like throwing the bomb to a group of enemies, and some enemies are killed by the explosion, some enemies catch on fire, some enemies are scared about the guys on fire, and some enemies are scared about the guys dying. So you have a lot of chances to kill or defeat a lot of enemies when you threw a smoke bomb to the group of enemies. And yeah, you are going to basically use that black powder bomb a lot in the run. And that's why Michael Bay will love this run, because it's explosion after explosion after explosion.
Basically, we just want to blow shit up.
Yeah,
That's
even
what we're
more
all
in
about
Act
here.
2, because... Yeah, so as Ash said at the beginning, differently to other New Game Plus games, you begin the game with no ammunition at all. So you have to buy stuff, and sadly in Act 1, you don't have any merchant like close to the quest.
Archers on that cliff.
That's going to change in Act 2 and Act 3. So you are going to see more black powder bomb stuff in those. But it's a really, really powerful tool to use in the speedrun.
Yeah, that is why Act 1 might be one of the hardest acts to learn in the speedrun, because resource management is a way bigger factor compared to Act 2 and Act 3, just because we basically do no shopping trips anymore during the Act 1 part of the game.
It was a competition.
Also, that fight that we just did was like really bad. Like, you could definitely see me having to run around and kill off a lot of enemies with my sword, simply because they did not run away because they were not terrified. And at the end, also Ryuzo was really far away from where he needs to be for me to be able to speak to him to continue the quest. So there was a lot of time lost there.
We need to move quickly.
And that was the first instance of us using a smoke bomb to skip something, because you normally are not allowed, game-wise, to use this boat until no enemy is aware of you anymore, either by you sneaking there or by you having killed everybody. But as we explained earlier, when you drop a smoke bomb, you get taken out of combat, and then the game happily lets you press, you know, that prompt, so we can actually use the boat.
No food here. Any sign of food? Not here.
And we will do that a couple of times during the course of the run to skip certain fights or triggers or whatnot.
No way around. Surprise them.
Yeah, so basically now we are looking for rice, in these boats.
Archers on the next ship.
And we are close to see the first use of the blowgun. And again, if you can use the blowgun here without getting the cutscene. So the good thing about the blowgun is that it's basically poison, and you get like you start puking and stuff when you get the poison. But the game count the enemy as defeated as soon as the dart hit the enemy. So even though the enemy is not dead yet, like visually, the game consider that enemy dead. So it's a really nice thing for like big enemies, like the one we're going to see here in a couple of seconds.
You can basically think of the poison blow darts as an instant kill arrow, kinda. So we will go here, pick up some stuff along the way. There's Ryuzo getting beat up by the big guy. We'll just poison him and he's immediately dead.
As you can see, the enemy wasn't dead like in the ground, but was shot by the poison dart, and the game considers that enemy dead right away. So it's a really nice thing for leaders and big guys. It's awesome.
Let's get out of sight. They're still hunting us.
That's a good hiding spot ahead.
Yeah, as John just said in the chat right here, your PBs, like in the very first iterations of the run, were actually determined by you being good at aiming, because shooting with a bow was a huge part of it, and getting headshots. However, since we discovered all these explosive strategies, that has kind of fallen by the wayside. Because, you know, we're not shooting arrows anymore. If we shoot arrows, they're gonna be explosive arrows or fire arrows, but we'd rather just throw bombs, because those are better. So we are really embracing that Michael Bay spirit and bringing it to Japan here. And I'll blow stuff up.
Yeah, so we already meet Ryuzo. We already meet Yuna, Linsen Shikawa, and now we are ready to get the a way for entering Castle Canada. And we're going to use this forge here in Komatsu. But the problem is that it's full with Mongols. So if you fire the forge, all the enemies are going to know that we are here. So now we need to go and see what we can do, so Taka, we can use the forge and make the thing for us to. Oh, what?
That was unfortunate. What happened there was I initiated a chain assassination, and what a chain assassination does is it allows you to kill up to 3 enemies back to back during one assassination attempt. But as soon as I assassinate the first enemy, the game slows down so you can target the next enemy to assassinate. However, Yuna had actually killed with her bow the next enemy and the only enemy that I was able to target. So she basically broke my assassination chain, and then I was stuck in this slow motion animation there, which again lost me a bit of time because I couldn't do anything, and I was just stuck there looking at Jin going slow. So thank you, Yuna, thank you so much.
Yeah, that looked awesome. Like the game recognized that, like how you say, like up assassination, like a falling assassination. And you don't want that, because that's the next one that is going to trigger a cutscene. Because all the things that you are doing here is forbidden by the code of the samurai. So you get like flashbacks of young Jin being told by Lord Shimura what is the way of the samurai, and it's basically like Jin saying, well, I'm doing this, I'm not supposed to be doing this, but whatever.
Yeah, it's a huge plot point in the story. Jin going against the samurai code by doing dishonorable actions, like incorporating terror into his tactics, burning enemies alive, as I just did there with a fire arrow, assassinating enemies from the shadows, poisoning them, stuff like that. And all of that goes against the samurai code, and certain actions of these go so hard against Jin's rule set as a samurai that he has flashbacks of his uncle not telling him to do this and that. And all of those cutscenes are unskippable, so we never want to do any of these actions in the speedrun, because unskippable cutscenes are bad. They lose your time.
Yeah, and I can confirm that
Look at me.
every runner of the game have done that by mistake in a run. I can definitely tell you right now that every runner of this game has done that already in a run by mistake.
Yeah. It just happens from time to time, you see this juicy air assassination prompt and you don't think anymore, you just press the big button and then you get a 20-second cutscene and you're like, oh god, why did I do that? Also, why the hell did I use my last explosive arrow on these guys? I need explosive arrow very soon. God damn it.
Or a demon.
Keep quiet.
Now I have
this
to
is
improvise again.
And this is a really fun quest because you ask Taka for getting the forge on, and Taka says, "Oh, I need my friend," and then you go and rescue the friend, and the friend says, "Oh, but I need my wife," and now you go and rescue your wife, and now you go there, and somebody else needs to be rescued. So it's basically like a treasure hunter going to rescue like different set of people.
It's a really big hostage rescue chain that is happening around here. So yeah, now Yuna is gone, looking for some people, so we are gonna go and help her look for those people. Interesting fact though, up there you can see Yuna, another quest marker. However, you don't actually have to talk to her, so even though you don't know what to do, you can just leave her there and continue on.
Yeah, and I will say that that kind of stuff is like what make like a runner and like a casual playthrough like really different. Is that because you already know what to do in all the parts, you can just... There is some dialogues that are like mandatory, but yeah, knowing which ones are not definitely save your time.
Okay, that was not so great. Like, I thought I could still assassinate that guy through the door, but he was already through it, so instead of assassinating him, I slashed down the door, and then the camera was a bit in the wrong spot, and I couldn't see his attacks clearly, and then he killed me. And that is how quickly you can actually die on lethal difficulties, so... just keep in mind that all of these enemies we are fighting can basically kill me in one hit. So even though it may look kind of easy from time to time, if things go wrong, they can just spiral out of control very, very quickly. And that is where just the experience of the runner comes in, to be able to still keep the run going and know what to do there.
Yeah, so one thing that you saw there is that the enemy had a shield. And Jin has 4 like stances for every enemy, and yeah, you most of the time have the wind one, I think, the one from like normal people, but the enemies with shields and spears, they are really, really annoying to kill with a sword, so you want them to be scared again, because they are the hardest to kill, because they have a guard that you need to break, so you can like begin to make damage to them. Okay, this is the Komatsu fight. So you will already lit the forge on fire, so all the Mongols knows where you are, and this battle is quite scripted. All the enemies spawn always from the same spot, but again, the problem is that you might kill one and the other one might get scared, so you need to like constantly see who got scared and where are the enemies alive.
Now that I don't have an explosive arrow, I actually have to go and kill these with my sword.
You can see that there are two enemies. I killed one and the other one got scared. That was a good chance. But then you can get like nobody gets scared then, and you have to kill the two of
Yeah,
them with the
like
sword.
this guy who was too far away. Oh,
Okay,
that
that
guy
enemy-
didn't run away. Yeah, that's also pretty bad.
Yeah, and now the leader appears, and you can again use the poison dart if it's possible.
All
There
in
you go.
all, that was a pretty bad Komatsu Forge fight. Like, a lot of things there went a bit wrong, I want to say. Well, it wasn't a terrible fight, but it could definitely have been faster. Like, there were a lot of people not running away in tower that I have to chase down and go out of my way to kill, so, yeah. But, like I said, that's the RNG. That can just happen.
Yeah, so now we free Komatsu of the Mongol forces, and now Taka can work on the thing that we need for getting into Castle Canada. Interestingly enough, because it's New Game Plus, you have the thing already. And that's like a current thing in New Game Plus that you have to do quests for getting a stuff that you already have. But again, I mean, it is the main quest. And now we are kind of ready to go and rescue Lord Chimura, but we need to do one more thing, which is basically the tutorial for the Iron Hook that you can see the title on screen. This is basically a tutorial quest, so you can learn how to use the thing that Taka already did here in the
Sounds like
forge.
you have all the help you need.
Will you join us?
I don't know.
Not liking my resources here. I only have 3 bombs and not a single explosive arrow anymore.
I just finished it. Thank you for your patience.
Oh well, we'll make it work somehow.
An iron hook.
But yeah, we are rapidly coming onto the end of the first act of the game. Only 2 more quests to go.
Do you need a swordsmith, my lord? Jin Sakai!
And there's Ryuzo again. As it turns out, like half of his men have gotten captured while they were looking for burgers. So he wants our help to go and rescue them. And we, for some reason, happily oblige to that.
How will your men catch
Yeah, and one interesting thing here is that sometimes when there is a dialogue happening, you are going to be like in your horse at like walking speed,
too many guards for your
and it is faster just get out of the horse and just jump,
and you sure the men
because
are
you
alive?
can't sprint here. You can just jump,
Allowed that.
and jumping around is just faster than the walking speed of the horse while the dialogue is happening. So we're going to do this a couple of times in the run, and here we can actually hear about
We never talked about
Ryuzo and Jin backstory of how Jin became a samurai and Ryuzo became a Ronin, which is kind of a big deal for Ryuzo, as you can
my
hear.
first tournament. I got swept up in the excitement.
Yeah, it's basically trying to make these walkie-talkie sections go on a little bit faster by jumping repeatedly. However, as John just mentioned, you also cannot go too far away because you must stay in a certain range to your allies or whoever is accompanying you at that point. Because if you go out of that range, your ally will just stop dead in their tracks and not move anymore at all until you come closer to them again. And as you can imagine, that loses your time, so going too fast actually will lose your time in this game. So you can't go too slow, you can't go too fast, you have to go at just the right speed and distance.
Wrong. Afraid I'll get more famous than you?
Yeah, and even though Ghost of Tsushima is a open world game, as soon as you start a quest, then you can move just an X amount of meters of your partner of that quest. So it's really annoying for for me, for example, because I want to like try to cheese some stuff and maybe getting into some place like early, and but you can't because then the game like kill you and put you in the last checkpoint, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, shoutouts to the QA team over at Sucker Punch. You guys did a phenomenal job at making our job here miserable, so thank you so much.
It'll be dark soon.
But yeah, we we've just talked about that this game is about to turn 1 year old, and we still have found basically no substantial glitches or bugs or whatever to help us during a speedrun other than the Tumbleweed Samurai that we explained earlier. So yeah. I mean, especially Charlton has found a couple of things that are definitely not intended by the programmers. However, they serve no practical use inside the speedrun, so we're not using them.
Where the bastards are holding my men.
Yeah, like I remember the thing on
You're the one who got us off that
Camino
mountain.
Dake where I basically find like a skip for getting to the final of the quest,
I need to get inside
but you
without
miss
being
like
seen.
one
Mongols
checkpoint
won't be watching the
in the
place
way,
like
so you get to the place and there's nobody there.
How?
It was so frustrating because it was so good, but
something to
well,
help me.
what can you do?
I'll free you
Yeah,
men.
because the game basically
Once they're
expects
with me,
you
I'll
to
cut off one of your
pass
arms.
certain
That's your sign of
checkpoints, and if you don't pass one of these checkpoints, the game just simply won't advance the story.
Find a way
So
over
you
the cliff on this side.
have to go through each and every one of these checkpoints, and you can't, skip over some of them in order to get to the end of the quest. So yeah, that laid to rest that find. Even though it really was nice, I was really hyped to start using it. But no, game says no, so we don't do it.
Says his hook will support my weight.
But yeah, if you think of yourself, dear viewer, as a, glitch hunter or whatever, please come by our Discord.
I didn't like this hook.
Start helping us look for more of them. Because we definitely would like some of them.
Yeah, so as you can see here, we're using the iron hook for the first time in the run. This is, again, kind of the tutorial for the iron hook. So we're going to enter this fort for behind by using the iron hook in these red and white straps that somebody, for some reason, put there.
Yeah, that dude was busy.
Yeah. So interestingly enough, if you go here before, some of them are not going to be there because again the game is code, so you can like enter to this fort before the moment is mandatory to enter here.
Hmm.
Need to find views those men.
So here we are going to rescue the Ronins that were captured by the Mongols. And in a couple of, maybe in 1 minute, you are going to be the best use for the black powder bomb in the whole, maybe not in the whole round, but these are nice uses of that bomb.
I think it's the best use, actually.
It's the best one?
I really like that throw. Like, they really make a strong showcase of their power at that instance.
Glad you're alright. How? Get ready to fight.
Yeah, so here we are saving the Ronins here, and some people don't know that you actually can't break the doors.
Oh, you hate to see it. I missed the first dart, and then he blocked the second one.
Damn it.
Well, this could have gone a little bit better. There's still people around here? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and even though the Ronins are like warriors, they they did nothing for that battle.
Time to open the gate.
Yeah, that's like something that you can see happen quite often, like all of your allies just standing around not hitting the enemies. Also, yeah, this is my favorite bomb throw in the game. Like you can see all these Mongols, they will now go into this Mongol mosh pit. And you then throw one well-placed bomb and bam! That should take care of
really powerful.
pretty much everybody except this one dude that survived. And that is that whole fight. Basically done with one bomb throw. And I guess that, well, I don't think any more has to be said about the power of the black powder bombs at this point, because you just saw it for yourself.
Yeah, so you can now imagine that same fight, but in any % new game.
Yeah, that's a whole different beast. Like, yeah.
So that's really like what make the speedrun and the whole like setup of Jin because gunpowder bombs, I mean black powder bombs, even though they are really powerful, if you don't have the charms that Jin has right now, they are not that powerful. You need like the charm of the fire damage and the radius. I think, I don't know if that's a perk or if that is a
that's
charm,
a perk,
but
actually.
so you need all that stuff together so the black powder can be this good.
But again, in a new game speeder, you wouldn't actually have enough technique points to get that perk to increase the radius of the black powder bomb, so, you know, you wouldn't get that.
All right, so this is the final quest of Act 1, which is going here to Castle Canada and saving your uncle, which is again the Jit of Tsushima, which is like the highest authority here. And you are gonna be here with all the people that you meet in the first act, which is Sensei Chikawa, Lady Masako, Taka, Kenji, and Yuna.
Everyone, it's time.
Also don't have any poison darts anymore, which is also not so great. I would have liked to have at least one. But since I missed that Mongol leader 2 times just a moment ago, I'm out of them, so
Catch up to the others. I'll see you inside.
gotta think on my feet a little bit.
I won't fail you again, Uncle.
So this is a bit of a butt-clenching moment coming up right here, because once again we have to evade some Mongols. And gonna go for a little bit of a risky strat here, like running out in the open, and nobody actually saw me. Okay, that never happened before. Normally there's at least one guy who takes a little bit of a notice of you.
Better take down the guards.
Oh well, I'll take it.
Yeah, that was good.
I'll definitely take that.
There's a siege weapon up ahead. Last time they turned it on Yuna and me.
This time, we'll take it.
We need to
Right.
Yeah. So Jin in the prologue, he actually went here, but he went like balls to the wall and was defeated by the Khan. But now he entered like for behind. He has some allies, so he's going to be doing better this time.
Can you operate the Hwacha?
Also another nice bomb throw coming up, where we just run up to this gate, throw the bomb, then assassinate the guy in the meantime.
Follow my lead.
You can just see everybody explode in the background while we assassinate that guy. That's always fun to see.
These those men were starving.
And coming up is one of my favorite skips in the game. I really like this skip. I don't know why, but I really liked it.
Hold
Right here.
I'll find another way over.
Just
Which is basically like jumping over the bridge and using the item hook there.
and normally you're supposed to climb down the wall on the right side of the bridge and then go under the bridge and around, but why do that when you can just, you know, jump down the bridge and do it from there?
I could use Yuna's help.
What did he get afraid of?
Quiet. More guards ahead.
Yeah, this is a kinda chaotic fight as well because there's a lot of enemies and you need to kill everybody. And again, you see Jin using the fire sword. And again, this sword is from a side quest, a legendary quest, so you can't use the sword on new game. But we have again a charm that enemies get scared if an enemy is on fire. So it's a really good thing on lethal because one thing also with the fire sword, sorry, is that the enemies can't block attacks with the fire arrow. I mean, I keep saying fire sword. So enemies that have like really high guard, like spear or the leaders, using the fire is actually really good. And here we are going to see the first duel.
Good luck, Jin.
So Ash is going to change outfit because this outfit is more damage oriented. So for surprise of everybody, I assume, Ryusu actually changed to the other side because he's a mercenary, so no surprises there. But yeah, and for this duel we're going to use 3 Dance of Wrath and some damage like with the sword because these duels are cycle. So as you can see when okay, that was fast. And that was the first duel of the game, and we are going to change again outfit to put the ghost armor so we have the perks of terrifying again.
Yeah, so that duel was basically the first boss fight, quote unquote, in the game, and expect to see more of those handled that way. Also, maybe we should talk about the charm loadouts. So charms are basically, well, passive bonuses that you equip onto your armors. And we've talked about how we equip charms to the ghost armor that makes it so that it increases our chance to terrify enemies. And what we do with the Sakai armor that I wore for that duel is that we increase its damage output by a lot by putting more charms onto it that boost exactly that. And that is why we switch armor for the duels, because you know you can't terrify your dual enemy, you actually fight them, and that is why we switch armor for the duels. So basically whenever I switch my armor, you know that something different is gonna happen to what you're seeing most of the time here.
Yeah, so most of the time Jin is going to be using the ghost armor. For duels, like normal duels, you're gonna use the Sakai armor, and for the final fights, you're going to use 2 different outfits, but we're gonna talk about them when we get there.
Yeah, it's like right at the end of the game.
Clear the invaders from the northern courtyard. Lord
And yeah, Lord Shimura is already rescued,
I'm with you, madam.
and we only need to kill a couple of enemies here, and Act 1 is already done. And yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is kind of a long game for like normal speedrun that lasts maybe an hour. And any percent is actually quite long, so there is a category that is called Act 1, and that category finish here when we finish this quest. So if you think that Ghost of Tsushima is quite long for you,
Well fought.
but if you like the game, you can run this category, which is 1.5 hour kinda.
So this was a 1 hour 21 minute and 10-second Act 1, which is still surprisingly good. Like if I hadn't had the bad luck at Komatsu Forge and Taylor Ryuzo, I think I might have actually PB'd for my Act 1 time here. Just interesting.
Lord Shimura's in the main keep.
So yeah, I think the run is actually going better than I thought it was.
There's nothing left for me here.
I could use your help.
Yeah, so Act 1, the main quest,
You have your
or the major objective was saving Lord Shimura, which already did.
Trust.
And now Act 1 has, I think, 2 main goals. Which is now that Lord Shimura is already rescued, now we have to tell to the main island that we are under attack, and also Jin needs to go and get his armor,
If you have
and
highest
oh
respect,
yeah, we need
I
to
can offer you something in return.
recruit the people of Yarikawa.
Because the overarching goal of Act 2 is to reclaim Lord Shimura's castle, which the Mongol invaders are now using as their headquarters. And it is the largest castle on Shimura Island, so we need a lot more people to assault that compared to Castle Kaneda, what we just did. And that is why we basically need an army. So expect more recruits coming up.
And that was, I think, the first shopping that you did.
Yes, it was.
What did
Yeah,
your
so
uncle say?
as you can see, the merchant was like right there, and lucky for us, in all the next mission, we're going to be kind of close to a merchant, so we can like buy stuff without getting out of our way.
You basically start to go to more villages and towns in the main quest in Act 2 and 3, so you have more opportunities to actually go ahead and buy some things. Whereas in Act 1 you're basically going from, well, Mongol encampment to Mongol encampment where there are no merchants.
Uncle,
I mean, you are in Komatsu Forge where there is a merchant, but he is so out of the way that it loses you seconds to actually get there.
can't imagine.
So he's not really a viable option. What we did at the beginning was that we went on a short shopping trip after the Tale of Sensei Ishikawa, so after the second quest that we did. You have a little bit of money there to go ahead and buy your first few bombs and a couple explosive arrows. However, another speedrunner of the game, the Wicked Viking, found out that you actually don't need to do that because you find enough resources and ammunition and stuff along the way in the first act to just barely scrape by. So, you know, in order to save time, we are not doing that shopping trip in Act 1 anymore.
Good heart.
However, as you're learning the run and as a bit of a safety, you can definitely go ahead and still do that. It only loses you about, I don't know, 20 seconds or so. So, you know, since it is a 3-hour and 30-minute speedrun, 20 seconds might not sound that important, but it is what can make the difference between a world record and not.
Tsushima. We must show our people that honorable samurai still fight for this land.
So John asked in chat if you are accusing him of lazy routing.
No, it's not a lazy routing. It was just a first draft that we are, you know, honing and improving upon as time goes on. Also, John, you were not using bombs and explosive arrows in the first place in New Game Plus. You were still using your sword, god damn it.
You smell that? Burning wood and bodies.
I mean, it was admirable, but it was slow.
Raided farms to the south. Never like this.
Is the Khan's revenge.
Yeah, which is actually interesting, because as we said before, you don't get any of these tools in your New Game speedrun. And when New Game Plus was out, John and a lot of the other first hour speedrunners, so to say, were still using their sword and the old tactics in New Game Plus. And I was just watching that and I was like, no. We're not gonna do that. We have all these tools. Let's do something different. And I started incorporating explosives and stuff more and more. And that is how the Michael Bay terror tactics and whatnot came to be in the first place. Because I was basically too lazy to use my sword. Also, why are you not running away? God damn you.
I saw them in Castle Kaneda.
Can my horse please come over here?
Sent north to
Thank you.
ravage our people.
So, Lord Shimura, where are you going? Yeah, he's raising his hand. He wants me to come over to him. Oh, he's immediately riding in the right direction. Oh my god, normally he takes a roundabout way. First going back on the proper main way, and then riding to the fort here. So that was surprising.
Find our lighthouses and rekindle every last one.
Yeah, so now that Jin has like a lot of like high moral for what just happened on Castle Kaneda, they're going to go to this fort, which is like the next barrier, and
Huh?
now we wait.
What was that?
I don't know.
I only stabbed one of them. I definitely did not do an input to stab both of those guys.
Calling for help.
Okay. I mean, I'll take it, don't get me wrong. I have just no idea what just happened there. I mean, I stabbed the guy, and while I was stabbing that dude, the other guy attacked me, and that is why I immediately stabbed him as well.
Trap us.
Okay. Well, I'll take it. As long as he's dead. I'm not complaining.
Warbands right behind me.
Alright, are you guys coming up there, or are you hiding out down below? No, you're actually coming up. Okay, that's good. No, you're staying? Are you staying? Are you coming? There's somebody still alive? No, they're all dead? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that wagon that I just throw a bomb at sometimes just stays down at the bottom of the hill and just doesn't come up for whatever reason. I have no idea why. And it's a bit of a crapshoot if it actually comes at you or it stays down there. And again, you just have to react accordingly to that situation as it unfolds.
A pleasure to serve, my lords.
We need more warriors like you following us into battle.
Yeah, so now we're going to go and turn on this lighthouse. And there is a bunch of lighthouses in the whole island, and you need to light them all up if you want like a trophy, I think. But yeah, it's basically like sending a message that we are coming for the can. We are like closing the island closer and closer to the can. And yeah, this marks like the beginning of Act 2, which opened a whole new area of the map. Because before in Act 1, we were like trapped in Isuhara. And now we have access to Toyotama, which is the second part of the map.
Now, the game is like neatly laid out in a way that you cannot actually get to Toyotama before you've done Act 1, because the only way to get to Toyotama is through Castle Kaneda, which you can only enter at the end of Act 1 during Shadow of the Samurai. And the same thing happens basically at the end of Act 2, where we can only get into Kamiagata, the third area of the game, once we have liberated Castle Shimura at the end of Act 2 in the main quest line. So, you know, some content gating going on right there.
This is where they held us.
That hole would barely fit.
Yeah, and here we meet
I promise
Norio,
it's double that.
which is
I want
warrior
to show
monk.
you rode from
And yeah, he also has like a really good story, but we're not going to do any of that.
Stop here.
But with the only thing of knowing him, now he's going to be in all the next big battles.
Yeah, now that Ryuzo
going to
has
be there.
betrayed us, Norio is basically Jin's future best friend forever.
Alright, Takashima village to support our
And, you know, Norio is just such a noble and good soul that we do not have to do any of his quests to gain his eternal loyalty. He will just stick around forever and ever, even though we never lifted a single finger for him. Whereas for all of our other allies, we had to do at least one quest.
Yeah, I will say I think that Norio's storyline is one of the best of the whole story, because
sure.
you have I'm gonna try to say this without spoiling anything, but you have the path of Jin, which is like getting like losing quote unquote your honor by doing stuff, and Norio is going to try to mimic that, but with a whole different result. And I think it's awesome that whole story is just really, really good. All right, so as you can see now in the screen, it says Isuhara is under attack. So if you open the map now, you're gonna get like a really slow and beautiful like animation of the map getting bigger. So you don't want to open the map right now, but now we're going to go to Yarikawa, which is kind of a rebel city that once fight the shogunate of Lord Shimura, which Lord Shimura is part of. And we're going to activate this camp, which is
Oh Akashima Village.
Akashima Village for later, because this is a fast roll point. And yeah, you don't want to open the map right now. You just want to roll to Yarikawa, so you can try to convince the people there that, okay, we're under invasion. Can we put our differences aside and fight this common evil together? And obviously, nothing is free in this life. So as you can guess, you are going to have to do some stuff for the people of Yarikawa before they can join you to defend the island.
Just quickly coming back to this Izuhara is under attack prompt there. Not only will the map expand and now include Toyotama to the map, it will also show you some villages that are under attack in Izuhara because the Mongols have launched some kind of counter-offensive. And the map will just slowly pop up all these new places of interest in the previous region, which is Izuhara. And that just loses you about 20 to 30 seconds or so if you were to open the map right now. And yeah, you don't want to get that for obvious reasons, and that is why you are kind of supposed to not open the map right now, which is also a little bit of a problem if you're first learning this route, because you have to know by heart where you're going here. It is one of the longest riding sections in the game. So when you're first learning the run, you're definitely going to open the map here and just to get your bearings. But as you get more experience with the run, you can just, you know, do it by heart and not have to do that anymore, as you're just weaving your way through all these bushes and whatnot. And you're basically just looking for some visual guidelines to, well, guide you to where you need to go. So we are not going up on Yarikawa. There it is. So we can momentarily continue on with our main quest.
And it's interesting because, as Ash says, you have to know the route by heart. So every runner, I will say, has like big things in the map that uses like reference. And I will really interested in knowing like which ones you have.
That's a couple of bushes or a tree here, a tree there, like a certain formation of geometry at certain points and stuff like that that I have a look out for that basically guide me around. So yeah, it's interesting because everybody probably has something else, like you just said. And again, that is also the point that you touched upon earlier, where we said that all of these writing sections are not necessarily mapped out in the most efficient way right now, because, you know, it's just the path that we use that we think is the fastest, but it has not been contested for a while. Well, that's not exactly true. There is a Chinese runner of the name of Kantan Curry, who currently has the world record in the any percent New Game Plus Lethal Act 1 category. It's you know, a couple of seconds faster than my time, my previous best. And he actually uses a bit of a different routing in Act 1 to get to the quests, and I don't think we have yet really timed it out if it indeed is faster than what we are used to doing or not. So there's already some potential for a faster route.
Let's hope the Mongols haven't found it. You just have to find a way through.
And so we have here a Yarikawa, the city of Yarikawa, and we learned that it's surrounded by Mongols already. And so we're going to enter from a like hiding site. We're going to use again the rolling thing here, the rolling in the deep, the rolling stone. And yeah, the enemies can't see them, and there is a strat here that somebody by mistake or by chance got, but we have to wait here until a dialogue is finished. But one other runner, Viking, had like a thing, we don't know what thing, and he was able to enter right away. So we're trying to again figure it out. So yeah, we have to wait here.
Probably why they've held out this long.
Also, what John is touching upon in chat, the Kurosawa mode. Now, a couple of guys of you may know Akira Kurosawa, the Japanese movie director, who has a certain fame to it. And this game actually features a Kurosawa mode, which lets you play the whole game in black and white. And it's certainly challenging because it has a certain, aesthetic charm to it for certain, playing this in black and white, like one of these old samurai movies. However, it actually makes the game a little bit harder because it makes navigation even harder, simply because everything is black and white. You don't have different colored toned bushes and stuff anymore. But if you go into combat, you might have also noticed that certain enemy attacks are color coded. Like if there is a bluish white glint to an enemy's attack, you can only dodge and parry it, you cannot block it anymore. And if there is a red cross in the attack, you can only dodge it, so you cannot parry or block it anymore. And if you're playing in Kurosawa mode, all of this is just black and white, and different variations of gray in between, of course. So that makes it really challenging. And John was actually one of those people who started out playing the game in Kurosawa mode and didn't switch to color until way later. So he actually learned the speedrun in black and white.
It sounds like Bane for some reason. Like
it's not fun.
It sounds like I grew on the Kurosawa mode. You just I don't remember the exact quote, but
yeah, I don't know what we mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're looking for that extra bit of challenge, well, go ahead and do that, I suppose. Which is also a fun fact. I did a speedrun race against the Wicked Viking, another speedrun of the game that we mentioned earlier. And, since I was a good bit faster than him on the leaderboard times, like there was about a 10-minute difference between our times. So we were thinking of ways to make the run a little bit harder and more interesting for me so that our times would be somewhat closer to one another. And what happened was that I was playing on... Well, he was playing on New Game Plus Easy. I was playing on Lethal. I was playing in Kurosawa mode. And I think we had a couple other modifiers to that. Oh yeah, I wasn't allowed to use Resolve, so no Dance of Wrath for me during the duels and whatnot. And that was a fun experience. It definitely made everything a little bit harder, for sure.
Isn't that the same marathon when you did like how you say that, like exercise? If you
also had to do 5 push-ups every time I got hit after a quest. Yeah,
there you go.
I think I had to do like 100 push-ups at the end of the run or something. It was quite the workout.
The tracks lead to this house.
Didn't the samurai live here?
But all in the name of charity.
I'm sorry.
You have to be more careful.
Kozamats. They've been sleeping here.
At least the bear didn't get them.
Yeah, maybe if I think we have some time here if somebody wants to plug something.
Arrowheads, bowstrings, hide to make adhesive. The archers must have been here.
Jin, Taka, I found.
They stole the Mongols' explosive barrels.
I like these archers.
Maybe not.
Well, then we were just gonna keep looking for these Yarikawa archers that have gone missing, and they might actually give us the leeway that we need to gain the trust of the people of Yarikawa, because as we touched upon earlier, the people of Yarikawa are not actually trusting of us, because we, or rather Lord Shimura, put down their rebellion a couple decades back. So, but we need them now. And we think that if we rescue their archers, they might start trusting us. So let's see if we are right.
Let's have a look at that camp.
So coming up is probably one of my least favorites fights in the game, simply because I still don't have a solid script, so to speak, of what to do there. It's still a little bit chaotic, apart from the start of it. So
yeah, I hate this battle.
Let's see what happens here. So what we're gonna do is we're not gonna fire a flame arrow. We're just gonna shoot that barrel to draw the enemies to us a little bit faster. Then we're gonna fire on that to make them all explode when they are around. And this is where the randomness now starts happening. As everything that is gonna happen now is always a little bit off the rails. And you just have to go and make do with what you're served.
Yeah, this battle is weird because I think that sometimes some leaders appear and sometimes they don't. I don't know.
Yeah,
Sometimes
it's for sure weird, yeah. There are also a lot of spawn points for the enemies to come from, so you're never exactly sure where they're gonna appear from. I'm just gonna have to try and make the best for it, and I think we are done. Yes, we are. Well, that wasn't actually so bad. The thing that always surprises me a little bit in this particular fight is there are 3 Mongol leaders.
Good work, Daikoku.
And sometimes I only have to fight 1 or 2, which surprises me because normally the AI or your AI companions are not quote-unquote good enough to actually kill one of these Mongol leaders. So I'm always surprised if I don't have to fight 1 or 2 of those, because I was always thinking like, where the hell did they go? Like, was the AI really capable enough to kill them? Or did I kill them by accident by throwing a bomb or firing an explosive arrow? What the hell happened?
Yeah, it's a really weird fight.
Yeah.
I almost forgot. Yuna is
So now it's going to start one of the coolest quests of the run, which is called the Ghost of Yarikawa. So yeah, the people of Yarikawa didn't want to help in the war because they say, okay, so the Mongols, they don't care about us. They just want to go to the main island. So we're gonna just wait here until all this thing pass. But the Mongols are actually quite interested on like getting all the island. So they're going to attack Yarikawa sometime soon. And yeah, Jin is there, and he obviously is going to help them.
Let's go. How close?
So interesting fact, if you call for your horse while walking out of that fortress, it will always come from the right side. So once you call for it, you know that you can just run into that direction and get on it to get to the gate here a little bit faster. So yeah, the Mongols are now attacking Yarikawa. So what are we gonna do? We are gonna shoot 3 explosive arrows at the gate, one after the other, as soon as we see enemies walking through it. And then we're gonna have to kill that guy because he doesn't behave. Once we have killed those, we are gonna go and throw 3 bombs at the other gate here. There's the first one. Wait for the enemies to come over there. Throw the second one. And if everything goes right, we will throw another here. And that should take care of this fight. Yep.
Nice. Yeah, so here again we're going to use the smoke bombs. So there is some catapults or trebuchet or that kind of weapons. And you have to destroy them. But you need to kill everybody there to the prompt of the destroy the catapult is going to appear. But again, we're going to use the smoke bombs so we can destroy the trebuchet
that was close.
without killing everybody. And it's fun because then in the cutscene that we're going to skip, all the enemies are just around Jin, and Jin is there like, whatever, man. And you're gonna get like some glitches like that when in the cutscene the enemies are there, but they should not be there.
There they are, just perplexed looking at the catapults. No idea what went wrong there, they're just destroyed.
Yeah, and here we are going to get in the second duel or boss fight, mini boss fight of the game of the run. Again, we're going to use the Tumbleweed Samurai, so you don't get seen by the enemies. Because again, if the enemies see you, you don't have to. You can get the prompt. You can use the smoke bomb there, but it doesn't matter because this dialogue needs to end, so you can open the door. And you actually can use your horse there, but again, it doesn't do anything because you still need to wait for the dialogue to end.
Yeah, also, if you don't have any smoke bombs anymore, you couldn't just run in there. So it's just, good practice to just roll there.
And I have killed men like you all across our island.
Your blood will soak the
Yeah, this is General Tmuge, and again, you're going to do Dance of Wrath, then finish him with normal attacks until you get the sword by sword like dialogue, which is the cycle is end there. And you can see in the top of the enemy you have two lines, the red one of health and the black one, the white one of guard. You need to break those. And yeah, this is probably the coolest thing in this quest, which is the God Stance that let you kill the enemies. And yeah, everybody now is scared about that. But I think in a normal quest, does the God Stance have the ability of scare enemies?
It never has the ability to scare anybody, which is also the reason why we're not using it in a New Game Plus run, because as I explained earlier, when you have the ghost armor on and you kill an enemy, you have a chance to terrify another enemy. However, for whatever reason, the ghost stance is programmed in such a way that when you kill an enemy in ghost stance, it has no chance to terrify another enemy. So you're killing those 3 enemies that you're allowed to kill in ghost stance, and that's it. And since it takes a while to get into ghost stance and then kill the enemies because of all the different animations, it's basically useless for New Game Plus speedrun. Sadly.
Yeah. And that's why we're going to avoid the God Stance if we can.
Well, it had one caveat though, we will actually use it once in this speedrun, however for a very specific reason a little bit later. Yeah, we would probably use Ghost Dance whenever you could in a new game speedrun of this game, because it's just, a nice safe little option to get rid of 3 enemies, because we cannot terrify an enemies in a new game speedrun. So, we would definitely use that there. However, since we have bombs and explosive arrows and our way of the flame where we light our shot on fire and stuff like that, Ghost Stance basically serves no reason. Oh, no purpose, rather.
Yeah, and as you can see now, Ash has still this armor. He's not going to change it because now we're going to Omi Village, which is actually the village of where Jin lives or lived, I don't know. And we're going there to get this armor. So we're not going to change it, because then when you have the cinematic of Jin taking the armor, he's going to put it anyways. And you're going to lose the loadout of charms, so yeah, it's a good thing not to change outfit and just have it there.
So basically what happens is you can put charm loadouts on your armor. So the charm loadout that you have gets saved when you switch armor, right? So we have specific charms on our ghost armor, on our Sakai armor, and these charm loadouts save those charms to that armor set. However, when you get a armor during the main game progression and it forcefully gets put on you for story reasons, the armor that you're putting on inherits the charms of the armor that you had on previously. So for example, as Charlton just said, we are going to get the Sakai armor in the coming quest. If I had the ghost armor equipped right now and I would get, per the quest, the Sakai armor, that Sakai armor would have the charm loadout of the ghost armor. And we definitely do not want that because we still have more duels coming up where we need the specific charm loadout of the Sakai armor. And it just so happens that at the end of the previous quest, we did a duel where we have the Sakai armor equipped. So we are now going to do the quest where we actually get the Sakai armor. So the Sakai armor overrides its own charm loadout, so to speak. So, you know, it's a net gain of nothing, but it at least doesn't lose us time for us to having to redo our charm loadouts here. So that's kind of nice. You know, it just works out with the routing. But the quest coming up is actually the one that I hate, quote unquote, the most in this speedrun, simply because in a speedrun sense, it serves no purpose whatsoever. You're doing this quest for 3 minutes. Where did that dog come from? Also, I did it again, didn't I? Come on. Can I? Thank you. I did not see that dog. Well, that has never happened before.
Yeah, that's the thing that we were talking at the beginning of the run. Patrols appearing from nowhere. And
I was so focused on explaining that stuff that I totally did not see that dog coming at me or whatever the hell it was that happened there.
Yeah, and patrols can appear randomly in the whole map. So it's not like, oh yeah, let's take this route because there is no patrols here, but no, they can appear anywhere. One thing that happened to me once is that at the end of the run, when you have the final duel, it was a patrol right there, and I was getting shot while in the cutscene of the final cutscene. It was so funny.
It just had to let me have that talk, god damn it. No. But as I was trying to explain, this quest is really boring in a speedrunning sense because story-wise, you're doing this particular quest Ghosts from the Past for 3 reasons. One is story progression, which we don't exactly care about because we're skipping all the cutscenes. The second one is the Sakai armor, which we already have because this is New Game Plus. And the third reason we're doing this quest is to get the blowgun, which we also already have because New Game Plus. So in a speedrun sense, this quest serves absolutely no purpose. We still have to do it because we have not found a way to skip it or whatnot. So yeah, it's just, you know, a bit of a lull, I want to say, inside the speedrun because not a lot is going to happen for the next couple of minutes. But yeah, well, you know, just take it as a bit of a breather, I guess.
Yeah, we can meet Yuriko, which is like the housekeeping of the Sakai house. And we also have to speedrun some poetry right now, which is always fun. And I mean, if you have played the game, you encounter this haiku thing that you can do to. I mean, you get like a headband. That's all. It doesn't do anything else. But it's I think it's a beautiful part of the game.
Oh, for sure.
In the speedrun again, it loses time because we are not doing nothing. But it's a really nice touch.
While we're doing nothing, do I have time to make a couple plugs?
Go ahead.
Once again, we do still have the open bidding for the horse that we can name later on in this run. There's still nothing towards that. So if you want to get the horse name changed, please go ahead and donate for that. Also reminding you that for every $10 donated throughout the entire marathon, you'll receive an entry into the raffle for one of 7 copies of Century, Life on the Spectrum, a comic anthology about living with autism. It's a 140-page book featuring work by over 30 different autistic creators, all telling stories about how autism affects their lives. For more information about Century and its ongoing Kickstarter campaign, type !Century in chat.
I don't know about you guys, but if that isn't a great incentive, I don't know what is. So, you know, get those dollars in, guys. While we slash down some doors. For some reason, slashing down these doors is like a really awkward thing to do because of the targeting inside the game. It's, you know, it's just slashing down some doors, but it is really hard to do for some reason.
Yeah, so here in the game wants one for you to do a standoff because the Psyker armor lets you do more standoff that you normally could do. But again, the standoff is quite slow. We actually did like a video comparing all the killings, and because the amount of time that the enemy is going to take, hunting you to do the thing, it can vary like a lot. So it's actually faster to go there and kill them with a smoke bomb. It's actually really fast compared to the other thing.
Yeah. Like with the standoffs, normally you can only kill one enemy during a standoff. However, you can spend technique points, which are basically your upgrade points, to upgrade that to be able to kill 3 enemies during one standoff. And then the Sakai armor has perks to increase that by another 2. So you can kill a total of 5 enemies per standoff at maximum if you have the Sakai armor equipped.
And so again, now we are going to go and pick some plant that can use for the blowgun that we already have again. And yeah, so Yuriko is she knows Jin from when he was a child. So now Jin is asking her to teach him how to use poison to kill people. Which is not the way of the samurai.
I always love this fleeing Mongol there on the side. He's just running for his life. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, she obviously have some issues of teaching Jim how to do this because she's like a old lady, like housekeeping. She's going to teach him anyways how to do the poison for killing people. And again, also Yuriko has like a little storyline and like a side quest, which is really emotional and touching to do.
It kills vermin within moments.
Make it strong enough for the invaders.
Also, yeah, as John just pointed out, we have in chat, we have basically eliminated most of the risk. Well, as far as I'm aware, outside of losing a run. So, you know, as long as you are quote unquote following the script, things should go right. Although, we gotta admit, the script for the New Game Plus category is probably easier to follow than the one for the New Game category. Simply because we have all these explosives at our disposal. Whereas there is a lot of sword fighting going on in the New Game speedrun, which you would have to compete with. But yeah, we are closing in on the end of this quest finally. So the action will pick up in a little bit again.
And again, here is faster just to get down off the horse and just jumping around. And yeah, I mean, I can't say enough that Tsushima storytelling is really great. If you have played this game, I will definitely recommend playing the game. It's beautiful. It looks so crisp. I think the gameplay is really super fun. And if you want to again join the community of speedrunners of this game, please do. We are kind of small but really caring.
You sleep out here?
Yeah, happy to help you to learn this speedrun. You know, a couple hours speedrun may seem daunting at first, but once you're getting into it, the time just tends to fly by. Like, you know, we are already 2 hours deep into this speedrun, and I don't know, it feels like minutes to me. I don't know about you guys, but I just really like this game.
That should be enough. Bring them to me, young master.
Yeah, and one thing is that it's really easy to set up to your New Game Plus file. I mean, I play other games, and doing your New Game Plus file, it can take like weeks, but you can probably get your New Game Plus file of for Ghost of Tsushima real quick.
Just speedrun it.
Are you hurt, young master?
Alright, that's the end of this quest. So we got our family armor. We recruited the rebels of Yarikawa, so there's only one thing left to do before we are ready for the end of Act 2. And that is to get a message out to the mainland of Japan and tell the Shogun what the hell is actually going on this island, you know. Nobody on the mainland knows about this Mongol invasion. Also, I should get on the horse before I fast travel. So, in order to do that, and in order to break through the Mongol water blockade, we need some... Well, we basically need a good sailor. And what are good sailors? Well, smugglers and pirates. So let's see if we can get those guys on our
pirates,
side.
and fighters on Mortal Kombat. Don't forget that.
Yeah, but I think he lost a couple arms, or he hasn't grown them yet, one or the other. I don't know which way around
The
it
second
is.
one. Yeah, they are growing slowly.
Probably taking a wrong turn somewhere to end up in Outland. Wait, is it Outland or Outworld in Mortal Kombat? I kind of forgot right now. Damn it, and I just watched the movie the other day. Chad, help me out. Mortal Kombat, is it Outland or Outworld? I think it's Outworld.
Let's see.
This is gonna bug me for a while now.
Yeah, so this is another another long ride to another place, and we now are going to Umugi Cove, which is a place that this pirate is, and hopefully he can get the message to the island, so the Shogun can send help. And I remember when I first started running this game, this was kind of hard because even though you can open the map and put the marker there, Umugi Cove is hide, so you still need to kind of find it. And what happened there that Jin got out of the horse is that he went too close to a duel, and that happened when you go too close to a duel or too close to
A point of
folk
interest.
shrine. Yeah, Jin is just going to assume that you want to go there and just get out of the horse for some reason.
Yeah. And the bad thing about that is if you just ride into this area, you cannot get back on the horse, so you have to run outside a little bit. So I was really lucky that I was just skirting around really close to the edge, so I could immediately get back on the horse there. But yeah, I was just cutting it a little bit too close for comfort at that point. Not a lot of time lost, but that was really close.
Yeah, it's
So I
nice to
found
say
this- Sometimes
No,
we
go.
stick in a quick donation.
Sure, go ahead.
I do have a $24 donation by none other than our own Double Double, who says, let's name the horse Sora, because this is the closest we're going to get to Kingdom Hearts in this marathon. So when we do have that horses in it, we do now have a leader in that. It's going to be Sora
Alright.
when we get there.
That is actually a really uncommon choice, because I think out of all the marathons and whatnot, nobody ever put money towards Sora, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I don't think so. Alright. Well, somebody has gone on and put money down on the line, so, you know, guys, if you want another horse name, could also name it Kaze or Nobu.
I see the Mongols haven't found. Thank you.
Come see me again sometime.
Go ahead and
Yeah,
donate
so-
money for it.
we already are here in Umugi Cove. As you can see, there is no Mongol invasion here because it's quite high.
Must be Goro.
And here we meet our friend Goro. which is the pirate that can get through the Mongol blockade and go to the main island to get the
To
message.
celebrate your escape?
To mourn the samurai. Those warriors died protecting men like me.
They swore to defend everyone on Tsushima. Even you, Goro.
I don't know if I can repay their sacrifice.
My master wouldn't ask for your help if he expected you to fail.
This is my home. Come in. Getting past that Mongol blockade won't be easy. Do you have Lord Shimura's message?
So he's going to give us the map, so we know where to go. Where is the boat?
My boat is hidden near Fort Mitodake. This map shows where I'll wait on the forest road.
And then comes to a really fun part, because we have to use a new weapon in the next part.
What am I doing?
Yeah, now we fast travel to that point that we activated at the beginning. I keep forgetting that name for some reason.
Akashima Village.
Nakashima Village. And now we can ride from a shorter distance to the point of meeting with Lord Shimura. That want to give personally the message to Goro.
Yeah, so basically we told Goro, you know, we need to get a message to the mainland, but we actually don't have the message on ourselves. Lord Shimura has it, so he gives us a map showing us where he has a boat hidden. So we are now gonna go and grab Lord Shimura, tell him, hey, there's a boat, and we are gonna go up and meet up with Goro. And the next quest that is coming up is actually the one where Charlatan right here found a nice little skip that we talked about earlier with the checkpoints that we sadly cannot use, but it would be really nice if we could. But, you know, sadness, simple sadness.
Yeah. I was so happy when I find it, and then I tried, because for some reason deep in my heart I knew that it wasn't going to work, so I didn't test that in a run. I just go ahead and test it alone, and yeah, lo and behold, it wasn't.
I'm curious how
Damn you, rigid good programming.
And yeah, so here is an interesting dialogue between Lord Shimura and Jin, because Jin has this like internal struggle with the way of the samurai and the way of the ghost, and now Jin has like a hint of Lord Shimura, which is like the example of honor. That he also like did something like in the boundaries of the honor by letting Goro lives with a condition. So that dialogue there is not free. It wants to like represent like Jin's struggle of honor and like the ghost path.
So I just hope that everybody is getting off from their horses nice and easy, because the NPCs actually can get stuck between their horses and between themselves here sometimes. However, you need all 4 of them to come to this specific point to actually progress the quest, and if one of them gets stuck way back there, basically you have to go ahead and reload a checkpoint to, you know, try again, and that obviously loses your time. However, thankfully it didn't happen this time, so I'm happy with that. Definitely never lost a run to that.
Yeah, and I will say that's one of the things that we runners do, but you can't tell that we are doing it, and that's like controlling GIF movement so people don't get stuck in places, because people love to get stuck in this game. Lord Shimura, more than anything, loves to get stuck in ladders and stuff. So yeah, that's one thing that we do, but you can't tell that we are doing it by watching the thing.
So this also has the potential for a bit of a soft lock here, because these Mongols closing the gate right now You can actually terrify them, just like that, and they will open the gate again.
Yeah, glitch
And
there.
I hope they will actually manage to close it off this time. Yeah, it seems
It's
like
so
we're good.
annoying.
Okay.
So annoying.
Yeah, but sometimes they
doors,
can
man.
just get stuck in a loop and do this over and over and over again, and you just have to go ahead, reload the checkpoint, and try again. Also, you want to wait for Lord Shimura to come a little bit closer here before you activate this gate, because otherwise you can actually softlock again here, because you activate the gate, Jing goes and tries to open the door, but Lord Shimura will never assist you in opening it. And again, you will just have to go ahead and reload the checkpoint, because nothing is going to happen.
Yeah, doors in this game, or better said, people closing doors in this game
Or opening doors.
can be a real pain because I don't know how it's code, but sometimes one enemy starts closing the door from inside and the other outside. So when they close the door, one of them is out. So then the door opens again, opens again, so they can try again to like time the thing well enough so they both can be inside the fort after closing the door. It's so annoying. And yeah, this is basically go as fast as you can to the final of the path. You need to go there to the Wacha, which is that that weapon that they are firing at you. And yeah, you just want to run and to avoid get hit by the Wacha, by the enemy, or by the doggies. The doggies are...
Go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Interesting fact there, you saw me that I had very low health before I skipped that cutscene, and after I skipped the cutscene I had full health again. That is happening because skipping the cutscene is actually just loading a checkpoint while the cutscene is going on, because what actually happens is, thank God, the game places a checkpoint after a cutscene that you then load when you skip it. And since reloading a checkpoint regains your full health, every time you skip a cutscene in New Game Plus, you're actually regaining all of your health again. So that is a nice little way to, you know, heal up if you need it on the New Game Plus run.
There is Goro's boat.
But yeah, fuck those dogs, man.
Yeah, doggies in whole games. I mean, I am going to be like real honest here. I hate doggies in the games, man. They're so annoying.
Yep. Like, you know, I have 2 dogs of my own. I love animals, but the dogs in this game can just go and burn in hell for all I care.
I second that. They hit their hitbox is so weird.
Yeah.
It's so freaking weird. You can hit them from the side and hit them again, and they are not going to be there. You're not going to do any damage. So you have like, I don't know, so weird.
Yeah, the thing that I noticed is when you dodge their attack and you hit them, they will fall over to the side and then get up and try to attack you again. However, you cannot hit them again until they have gone through one attack animation, so to speak. Or rather, they have a lot of invincibility frames after getting up, so it's just futile to try and counter-attack them when they are getting up. So you really have to wait it out before you can attack them a second time to kill them.
Those doggies. Well, so now we are like the classic thing where you take enemy weapon and use it your own, and we need to like clear the path so Goro can go through the blockade with their boat so he can get to the mainland and alert the Shogun that we are under attack.
Yeah. Alright, and with that we have completed all the 3 main quest points in Act 2, so we are now ready to slowly go to the finale of the second act, which is to reclaim Castle Shimura. However, there is one more quest that we have to do beforehand, and that is Reckoning in Blood, which is a quest name that pretty much everybody that has played the game probably knows, because some things happen during this quest. Unpleasant things.
Come, see what I can make for you, my lord.
Yeah, here's again we can go easily to a merchant and buy some good stuff.
See you again.
Some black powder bombs, smoke bombs, and fire. You are going to see that the things that you buy are different from easy, for example.
Yuna may want to join me
On
for this.
easy, I for example don't use fire as much in the sword because it's easier to get like fire arrows. But on lethal, you definitely want like a good amount of oil for the fire sword.
Interesting fact about this shopping trip, though, is there's a particular thing is gonna happen during the next quest, and you will basically lose your equipment and have to reclaim it. And once you do, you actually do not get all of your resources back, so to speak. So what I mean by that is that basically your ammunition gets reset to its base value. So for example, in the beginning of the game, you can only carry a maximum of 2 black powder bombs, and with upgrades, you can get that up to 5. So if you are carrying 5 black powder bombs at this very moment, and then you reclaim your equipment later on the next quest, it will be cut down to 2 black powder bombs maximum. Now, if you had less, you will keep less. So if you had 0, you have 0. If you had 1, you have 1. If you had 2, you had 2. But if you had 5, you had also only have 2. So it makes basically there is no use in buying the maximum amount of your arrows and bombs and whatnot before this very quest. Just stock up to the base value, the base maximum value, and leave it at that, because for everything above that, you're basically wasting supplies to buy stuff.
Yeah, and this quest is really interesting because the way that this quest is normally think is that Taka is going to lure all the enemies out, so you can go in this part when it's no enemies. But we're not going to do that. We don't have time for that, so we're going to just go inside with all the enemies and again exploit the smoke bomb and use the prompt of the door while in the smoke. So this is going to have like a really interesting effect, which is the enemies were chasing you. So the enemies are now quite invisible, but they are here still. So you actually can hear them screaming at you, but they are not there.
Like this.
Yeah. So it's really funny because the game is not code that you do this fight like this. So all the enemies are there screaming at you, but they are not there. So I don't know where they are.
So yeah, enjoy these Mongols screaming at us for the next few minutes while we are doing a bit of a cleanup duty here.
Yeah, as Joe said in the comments, those are the real ghosts of Tsushima.
Kinda.
Yeah, so you have here a bunch of run-ins, which are the hardest enemies, I think. Like the normal enemies, because, well, they are really good fighters. And you need to kill everybody here, so the mission can progress. And yeah, sadly in the cutscene, the Khotun Khan, which is like the main enemy, came to us and Taka tried to hurt him, and the Khotun Khan killed Taka, which is Yuna's sister, and now Yuna sadly goes there and see that his brother has died. And this is a normal cleanup of enemies. You need to kill all 3 waves here. And as you can see, the doggies are really fun to kill.
Mess up that bomb throw a little bit. Anybody else? Was a little bit slower than I would have liked, but it was still okay. I messed up that first bomb throw by hitting the ridge instead of the enemies, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it was okay.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, there is a trophy here, right? You need to play your flute as the sad song, storm something, in front of Taka's grave, so you can get that trophy. So if anybody of you want to do that trophy thing, you can do it right now.
And the Mongols are still screaming at us.
Yeah, luckily that ends when you fast travel back. Luckily, because I can't imagine the rest of the run with those screams, man.
To be honest, I've never tested if that screaming continues until you fast travel the next point. I think it does, so maybe we should make it a donation incentive to just not fast travel from that point on anymore and just, you know, have the Mongols screaming at us for the rest of the run or something.
Call it Mongol screaming percent.
Angry Mongols yelling at the ghost. Also, I just slashed down the door, right? I just destroyed that, and look how fast these Japanese carpenters are. You know, the door was repaired already again. It's like phenomenal. If ever anything in your house breaks, just, I guess, call a Japanese carpenter or something, and you'll fix that in no time flat.
We all have seen those YouTube videos about Japanese people like making roads in like 1 hour. So that doesn't surprise me at all.
Fair enough.
They may not be trained warriors, but I trust them with my life.
Yeah, so talking about speed, the people of the mainland already sent the reinforcements. So Lord Oga here is what's sent by the shogun. And now, finally, we can go to Castle Shimura and try to take the castle back.
Also, I don't know about you guys, but this color scheme of the Oda clan like really reminds me of something. I don't know. You know, this white and purple and orange color scheme. Isn't there a speedrun marathon like that somehow? It uses similar colors in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about Castle Shimura, but, well, you know that Tsushima is a real island that exists. And I know that Castle Kaneda, the castle that we previously rescued, is still there. You can go there and visit Castle Kaneda.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know I don't know if Castle Shimura exists, but I was looking like for the island. I was actually looking at the prices of the flight. And I knew that one of the points that you can visit is Castle Kaneda.
Interesting. Well, I mean, they've certainly took some liberties with the layout of the island for the game, so the real island of Tsushima is not laid out as it is presented in the game. That much I know. But yeah, I think this game definitely sparked up the world's interest in paying a visit to Tsushima for sure.
Yeah, man, definitely.
So I guess as soon as people, you know, get vaccinated or this whole pandemic is gone, there will be a huge influx of tourists to the island of Tsushima, I'd wager.
Yeah, and this is another door that can glitch, so you need to kill those two enemies, but they need to be out of the animation, so you can kill them. Otherwise, you can't do anything to them.
Oh, there's still one alive down there. Yeah, you know, 20 allies, one enemy, and they just cannot kill him until I come along. So interesting fact about this battle, you don't actually have to kill anybody here, you just have to get to the next quest trigger. I could actually ride that horse. Okay. What would have happened if I had mounted that horse?
I don't know. I was thinking about the same because the door was open.
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly what I was thinking too. What if I would have ridden that horse through that gate?
I already know what I'm going to do today after this marathon.
I'm coming with you.
Maybe we finally found a skip.
Did it work? Ghost of Tsushima, maybe?
Oh, that was not supposed to happen.
So one of the things on this game, like speedrun, is yeah, we know which part we need to kill everybody and which we don't. And yeah, this is a part when you don't need to kill everybody, but you need to kill everybody now that you are on the Watcha, so you can kill all these enemies. I was actually trying to do some smoke, so black gunpowder bombs before using the Watcha for like having less enemies, and it kind of worked.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as well a couple times, that because you have to clean up the enemies, you know, down there to the right, which are already there before you mount the Watchers, so maybe you should actually clean those up with a black powder bomb before you mount the Watcher. Because...
Yeah, I did that once, and the second wave is spawned immediately.
Yeah, that might actually be worth it then.
I see them.
Because the Watcher, not gonna lie, is a bit slowish or sluggish at least.
Yeah, you can like see that does a lot of damage, but it's actually like maybe 6-7 arrows, nothing else.
The only reason we've made it this far.
You broke them.
The Khan is losing ground.
I think I just stabbed that guy in the ouchie parts while he was flying. So, ouch.
We're clear. Move forward. Reform. Push through. We must reach the bridge.
Nice.
The enemy's retreating.
Yeah, and here again you are kinda praying for good RNG, so you can like put enemies on fire and all the other enemies get scared. And let's see, this one guy there.
The last arrow that I had to shoot, you normally don't have to do that, but that guy was just standing around, staring off into space for whatever reason, so... Can happen. Yeah, he was just standing there looking at stuff, right? Like, he was totally out of it. Not interested in what's happening around him at all.
The Mongols.
Probably shell-shocked from all the, you know, war happening around him. He was just tired of it. But yeah, anyway, we have more or less reclaimed Castle Shimura, at least half of it.
Yeah, this is like a critical point on the story because Jin knows that if you go like to the battle like right away, you are going to get defeated. So Lord Shimura, because he's a samurai and he wants to fight with honor, he wants to go like in the front, but Jin knows that's not a good idea. So he are going to, well, this is the point when Jin gets the ghost armor. That because Taka was working on that before he dies, and now Jin, his main goal is to save the more people that he can. So he's going to be doing this stuff, even though his uncle don't have this plan. So this is like when Jin decides, okay, so I care more about the people of the island than my honor. So yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, this is basically the point in the story where Jin goes rogue. Like, he more or less abandons the samurai code and becomes the ghost fur code.
Sorry.
That was clear. Now look for a way to poison all of them.
Yeah, so now Jin is like going into the castle and like watching for some stuff that he can do.
A straw hat.
And if you have already played this game casually, you will remember that this part maybe took you like a lot of time because you need to be real sneaky here, because if you get spotted, the game put you in the in like the last checkpoint, which is before enter the castle. But again, we're going to exploit the tumbleweed samurai, the rolling thing, and we're not going to be seen by anybody.
Yeah, not only that, but the whole story point here is that Jin goes and, poisons all these Mongols so that the rest of the story can happen. And how the game ensures that that is actually going to happen is that in this part of the castle, if you kill a Mongol, there will be a endless supply of reinforcements just coming and taking their place. So you can never kill every Mongol in this part. So you actually have to sneak your way across this. There's no way around that.
You can try it, but yeah, Mongols are going to spawn.
I got see. Okay, that was a little bit sketchy, but we made it work.
Yeah, that'll work.
So yeah, now we put the poison into the Iraq of the Mongols. All of them are gonna have a toast, and all of them are gonna get poisoned and die. So good job, Jin. The one-man army has taken a whole castle just by himself without any casualties on our side. Good job.
Yeah, and you can see Ash changing outfits, so you kind of know what's going on.
Yep.
What's coming up here? Let's see this duel.
Because one guy didn't actually drink the Iraq. And that's real though.
You should have surrendered.
I won't die by your uncle's hand.
You won't stop me, Ryuzo.
And again, this duel is kind of fast because we use 3 Dance of Wrath and then do some damage with the sword so we can trigger the cycle. And yeah, Ryuzo now knows that he picked the wrong side. And in the cutscene, he tries to like tell Jin that maybe they can lie and say that he was a spy for the Khan, but Jin is not getting that, so he just go with it. And also the thing that happened is that Lord Shimura find out what Jin did, and that's not the way of the samurai. So now Jin is taken like a prisoner because he is like a traitor because he defeat the command of the Jit of Tsushima.
Yeah. So basically Jin more or less is not a samurai anymore at this point. He's now an outcast, or an outlaw rather. And as Kenji will tell us in a moment, Lord Shimura has petitioned the Shogun of what to do with us. And the Shogun has said, well, off with his head. So, yeah, we kind of like our head, we kind of need it still. So we are gonna escape the prison here. And gonna go and hunt down Khotun Khan to kill him on our own. Luckily, none of these guys look up, so, I'm gonna save up here.
And this is the finish part of Act 2.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it's basically Jin going rogue and escaping the castle Shimura here. And he wants to complete his quest, which is killing the Khan. Now at this point, all his sacrifices towards that. So he's not going to stop until he does this.
So we just skipped a very emotional cutscene because we escaped the fortress Tsushima. However, in the process, our horse died. And this is a very emotional cutscene. It's like very well done, like a very tear-jerking moment. And so I guess all of you guys can be congratulated that you chose to name the second horse in the game, not the first one, because the first one actually dies. So spoilers. That's why we can actually, you know, keep this horse naming incentive going on for a little while longer, because we'll get a replacement horse in a little bit. But yeah, that cutscene, watching that the first time or even the 10th time is just heart-wrenching. Like the horse just limping along, you know, being shot by arrows multiple times, and fun fact, if you're playing the new game speedrun of this game, you know, not the new game plus, the new game, where you have to watch all the cutscenes every time, you will see this horse die every single time you run this game. And it will rip your heart out every single time you run this game. So yeah.
It when you said the horse, it kind of reminded me of Shadow of the Colossus.
Agro.
That thing got me on guard when I saw it for the first time, man.
Yeah, me too. But at least, you know, you see in the epilogue that Agro is actually okay, so, yeah.
Yeah, when I was watching the cutscene on this game, I thought, oh, he's probably gonna be okay, and then it's
Yeah,
just the gravestone.
They show its grave. It's like, nope. Unless somebody is gonna take up necromancy, that horse is not coming back.
See, and well, there's a whole meme of F for paying respects, but in this game you actually have to press R2 to pay respect. So there is like a current meme when I run this game that when that cutscene happen, we all type R2 on the chat for the horse.
Press R2 to pay respects.
Now to find Yuna.
But you know, then you also have to press R2 to pet the foxes, so a bit of a double meaning there. I don't know.
I think I found a better hideout.
But yeah, we are now actually in Act 3, the last act of the game. So there are about 40 more minutes in this run before we are done.
Sheltered, defensible, and in striking distance of the Khan's stronghold.
Yeah, and a really interesting thing, as you can see now, we are like in this gray, snowy part, and
We can fix that.
and the more you get into the ghost, the more the landscape became more gray. So as you can see, the first act, we were like running in our horse in the golden forest with all these yellow, beautiful leaves. And the second part, it was like the whole first part, kinda gray and green at the same time, like. And now we're just in the deepest, saddest part of the island. With all it's gray, the clouds are not there, all the trees are covered in snow. It's kind of it's not by chance. I actually read that that's part of the whole game, like Jean the ghosts and the landscape becoming more gray. Really nice touch.
That's also the fact that the weather actually changes dynamically according to actions. Like if you go down the... Well, you know, you can't go down in the story, but just the way you play the game, if you do the quote-unquote honorable thing and fighting the enemies head on, like, you know, you just walk right into an enemy encampment and start fighting people there with your sword. It's actually sunny and, you know, it's daytime and whatnot. But if you go down a more sneaky path, like you sneak into an enemy encampment and start assassinating people and poisoning them and whatnot, it's most of the time always this gloomy weather, like with thunderstorms sometimes, and it's night most of the time and stuff like that. And that I thought is also very interesting, like the weather really ties into your gameplay in a way.
I'd make them again, even if the Shogun brands me as a traitor.
Yeah, so now we are in Kamiyagata. This is the third part of the map that we unlock after taking Castle Shimura, and now we need like a new base. So this temple is going to have to be that, but we need to clean it before we can use it for that.
So we gotta clear the vermin out first, or the Mongols rather. Basically the same thing. So get rid of these 3 guys. And this one. Don't have to kill the other, he will most of the time always flee. Yeah, that was all of them.
It was clean. Nice.
Oh, that was pretty good. And you can just see the one guy running away because he was terrified through the window.
You can actually like chase the enemies, and they just keep running and running and running and running. They don't despawn or anything. They just run away from you. I did that for like 10 minutes and then I got bored, but I don't know if somebody actually happened, if they run like to a fortress or something.
That will get their attention. Better get back to you.
Alright, time for our speedrun edition of Mongols on Ice, because we fired off this alarm and now all the Mongols come running over here to try and help their buddies that are actually not here anymore. And they will, you know, conveniently cluster around these explosive barrels on the frozen lake. So I wonder what happens if I shoot that. Yeah, I guess nobody saw that coming. Oh, are you kidding me?
Let's get to the pagoda.
And one guy holding out hope for the rest of them.
It's
But
always that guy in hope.
But yeah, guys, you know, don't cluster around explosive barrels. I don't know why people keep doing that. I mean, it's convenient in a gameplay sense, but, you know, keep away from red barrels. God damn you. That's just some real life advice I'm giving you guys right here. Okay, where's the commander? There he is. Looking for you, buddy. A little bit unfortunate that the commander was a little bit out of the way and had to drop down this little ledge to get to him, because that lost a little bit of time, but otherwise that was a pretty clean fight. Well, would you look at that? It's actually getting kind of dark outside and it started to rain. Is the game trying to tell me something here? Is life now emulating the game for me?
Lord Sakai, we could use
Where it gets darker and darker the more I play.
Yeah, so basically now we are in this part of the map and we kinda need more help. So Yuna actually has some friends here that can kinda help. But we're going to take a little castle before doing that. I don't know if it's a castle or fort.
It's a fort.
It's a fort, yeah. We need to take that, so we're going to go and help. And by the way, that horse is not the horse that we can name. It's like a surrogate horse that we have in the meantime. And I don't know if you can see, but it is kinda worn out, and the horse, yeah. It's not like the cleanest horse, yeah. And yeah, I just change outfit. So in main game, when you do a quest, you get a Mongol outfit that let you like be more stealthy in front of the Mongols. So in this part, you have fire. and if the fire touch you, you can like get out of the horse and like get real damage. So for doing that without getting hit by the Mongol patrol, I just put the Mongol's outfit so he have like more stealth going through. So it's faster actually getting the outfit than trying to avoid the fire and the patrol at the same time.
Yeah, it's not only the fire, it's really that one patrol that I saw there, because I have never been lucky avoiding that particular patrol when it had spawned. So whenever I see that patrol, I always just instinctively now switch to this particular armor and put it on and just be on my way, because I have just never been able to outride it or circumvent it in any way. It's just too much in your way, in your face, and dodging it is a real pain. And like Charlton just said, the Mongol commander's armor basically lets you walk up right in front of a Mongol and they probably still won't detect you as an enemy, so it's really convenient for that purpose. I mean, theoretically, you could actually put on the Mongol armor for every stealth section that we use to just roll through. However, you would always lose a little bit of time by, you know, having to go to the menu, change your armor, and then doing it again at the end of it. So that probably wouldn't be any time save whatsoever, because rolling is just about as fast as running anyway. So all the time that you could potentially save by running instead of rolling, you would immediately lose by having to go to the menu and switch the armors around again. So it's just not convenient having to switch from the ghost armor to the Mongol commander's armor and back again.
Mongol archers got the gate.
Yeah, and also having the outfit doesn't necessarily is going to let you like not be spotted. It takes more time just, but you can get spotted with that outfit on. So if you have to like use a prompt again, you are gonna have to use the smoke bomb again. So it didn't make sense to change the outfit for stealth sections.
Yeah.
But it's really useful in this situation.
Having said that, though, I can see you not having to do that on lower difficulties, like on easy, maybe medium, because on hard and lethal, the enemies are actually really aware of you very fast. So once you see these white bars on screen that the enemies start to detect you, those fill up really fast on lethal and hard difficulties. So you might get away with it on easy, where it is a little bit slower for the enemies to pick up on your presence. Where am I writing? Ah, over there. Okay. Lost my way for a second there, because navigating Kamiagata is a little bit troublesome, I think, because of all this white. Like, it's just white and white all the time, every time, so it can be a little bit easy for you to get lost in all the, well, white noise here. For me, it was definitely the hardest region to learn the routing of, just simply because of that fact. There are just no clear visual guidelines for you to find your way if you're riding without a map. But even the wind is not actually helping that much, because it's just another white object floating around in all the whiteness anyway, so yeah. Navigating Kamiagata is definitely a challenge at the beginning.
Yeah, and again, if you are like a new runner, the thing that I did in that time was just opening the map and putting the marker. Because yeah, it's sometimes really hard to see where you're going.
Back away from the edge. I'll be right up.
Yuna's got some interesting friends.
And yeah, so here we already are in Fort Kaminodake. So we can free these fort for these guys, so they can pass the winter here. And with that condition, they can then join us in the final battle.
There's another one of my favorite bomb throws coming up right here. We are gonna throw down this bomb right now and then just slaughter this guy while all his bodies are burning around him. It's quite brutal, not gonna lie, but definitely effective.
Yeah, and here there are two guys that can be really annoying. So one is in the right, that get behind like a barrel, and one is on the left that like to hide also. But luckily,
None of that happened.
none of that happened. Yeah.
That was really clean. I haven't had it that clean in a long while. Ah, these guys respawn though.
And yeah, this is kind of frequent actually in New Game Plus. So you have enemies that you already killed that they respawn after
Reloading a checkpoint.
after the cutscene. See, I don't. I think it makes sense if when you said that it's like a checkpoint, like enemies respawning. But yeah, it's definitely a problem because they already die, but they respawn.
Yeah, you basically spend resources to kill them, and now they're there again.
And so here there is a lot of enemies again. There is some cues about like dialogue that you can hear because you kind of need to kill everybody, but not at the same time. Sometimes I think, I don't know if.
Yeah, I think as long as there are like 2 or 3 guys left standing, you're just good to go. You basically just watch out for Jin saying that something about reinforcements, and as soon as you hear that line, you know that you can just keep on going to the next part of the quest.
Yeah, and here all your allies are here, like people of Yarikawa, Sensei Yarikawa, Lady Masako, Norio are already here. Because now that you went rogue, there is a good amount of people that actually follow you to this part of the map and like quit being on Shimura's army. But still not enough for getting the can, right?
I hope so.
So the next quest, if I am not wrong, is the shortest quest of them all, right?
Yes, it is. About 3.5 minutes. It's really fast, really short. And after this quest, we will actually have to name the horse a second time. So, guys, if you want to keep donating to that incentive, do so now, because in about 3 minutes or so, that will be closed off.
And to update that, Sora is still in the lead with the $24. So all it takes is one $25 donation to snipe that.
That's not a lot of dollars.
The same ones I used to make my poison.
Somebody probably has some pocket change lying around, I guess. But this is another one of those quests where the game expects you to do all this sneaky stuff, like around this cliff, going around these rocks to my right. Because you're not supposed to just walk through this village right here where they are all gathering this poison stuff. But nope, we can just roll right through, no questions asked.
Yeah, so basically the poison that you made for the blowgun, now the Mongols kinda know how to do it. So Jane now discovered that they are like gathering poison to go to the main island and use it there. So that's going to be like a huge incentive. So Jin can kill them. They can before they leave the island with all the poison that, by mistake or by error, he told them. He teach them how to do it.
Close to the docks and his fleet. Makes sense.
Yeah, Khotun Khan isn't a dummy. He learns as well. So when he when he noticed or got aware of that Jin used some poison to kill like all of Kotunkan's men at Castle Shimura. He of course was curious what the hell happened there, and now he has learned to make this poison as well. And that is the quest already. Like we said, this is a pretty short one. So once we start the next one, we will name our horse, because we're finally getting a replacement. Hopefully that won't die. Just putting it out there.
What game would be so mean as to kill your horse twice and make you watch?
I mean, the game explicitly tells you in the beginning, when you name your horse the first time, that it will stay with you for the whole journey. It explicitly goes out of your way to tell you that. And then you saw what happened. So, yeah. Anyway, if you would go ahead and close that incentive off, please, and tell me the name.
Sora is going to win it with $24.
Alright, and Sora it is. Getting a little bit of a Kingdom Hearts flair going on here, as I have heard.
I'm not letting you leave without a good horse.
Yeah, and it's sad how the horse that you used before this, it doesn't get a name, it doesn't get anything, it's just like...
It's not worthy of a name.
Yeah.
Alright, gotta pick the right name this time. Careful.
Name this one.
Sora.
From the heavens.
Alright. Got it.
There you go.
I grew up there, and I still remember.
Yeah, and it's called Sky, which is
Even as
kind of fitting for the next quest. Not this one, the next one.
Sure. That's actually true, yeah.
So this quest is called Jito's Heart, and yeah, even though you end with in rough terms with Lord Chimura, he's still your uncle. He is the person that raised you, that told you how to fight. And Jin, even though he is like a outlaw, he means well. I mean, he wants to kill the Khan. He's not like he's not going after the Jito or the Chon or something like that. So he's going to go to the camp, to the castle, and actually let a letter, so Lord Shimura can join Jin in the final fight against the Khan. And here Aish is going to probably use...
Nah, I'm not gonna use it this time, because I noticed it doesn't
no?
really save that much time. I'm gonna try and use it later. But I've screwed this up so many times, I need some proper training with that, I guess. But
Yeah, so
there will be
basically
another
now...
instance a little bit later where I can try and show it off.
Nice. So now we are entering the same castle that we, in a couple of minutes ago, we saved. We are entering from the back. And an interesting thing is that you can't kill anybody here. Because you are going to show that you want to do something good. So if you kill anybody, obviously you are not saying that. So Jin needs to go to the room of Lord Shimura and let the letter there, but no killing anybody. So if you kill somebody here, the game is going to put you back in the latest checkpoint, so you can do this thing properly, because it's important for the story that you don't kill anybody here.
Nah, I didn't get it. Damn it. So what you can do here is, when you have to do any swimming section while you are still on land, you can do a Dance of Wrath. And if you've seen the Dance of Wrath a couple times now, you know that it's a series of very fast sword strikes. And what happens if you get into a body of water where you start swimming while you are on the forward momentum of the Dance of Wrath, you will actually translate that speed into your swimming speed, and you will just basically zoom through this short swimming section there. However, my position was a little bit off, so I didn't get it, sadly, but that is what is actually supposed to happen there. Now, it doesn't save a lot of time, it's a second or two at best, but it's just to Nice little tech that
But
you can do
looks
there.
cooler. Looks cooler. I
It
mean,
definitely does.
it looks really cool. Yeah, so this is basically the same spot that we passed before, but from the rope over, and we're going to use smoke bombs here to do this faster, because the proper way to do this, or the intended way, is that you need to go like outside and kind of go up with Lord Chimura at the
Yeah,
same
remember,
time.
none of these samurais are supposed to see you, you know. But
Yeah,
we
so
don't care. Because the thing is, you know, normally if you get seen, you would get a game over, right? Because you're supposed to do this sneaky. However, the game is programmed in such a way that you only get this game over when an enemy sends reinforcements, you know, when they blow in their horn like the Mongols do. As soon as they do that, that's a game over. However, those samurai don't have anything to do that, so they cannot call for reinforcements. And that is why, even though they see you, you can never fail that quest, because they have no way of triggering that game over. So yeah, just run through the castle, no problem.
yeah, and that was the final kind of quest, and now begins the final battle, I will say. That's called Eternal Blue Sky. And yeah, I mean, Jin is hoping that Lord Chimura is going to arrive when he should arrive. And yeah, I mean, if you know something about the Mongol invasion to Japan in the 13th century, you know the factor of the storm, right? That has in that. So yeah, Jin is going to use the storm for getting into the fight without being seen. And now the last chopping before the game ends, and Yuna actually needs to go around and like see everybody before. And a good thing about Ghost of Tsushima is that while you are here buying stuff, the time up there is not stopping. So Yuna is actually moving in this moment. And yeah, you just need to wait here until Yuna ends his trip, and you can get to the final battle here.
Oh, there she is. She will just have a trip all along the temple grounds here, so, you know, getting a little bit of a breather here before the final battle. Also, just out of curiosity, is this timer that's going on accurate?
To my knowledge, it should be, yes.
Okay, alright. Huh. Cause, holy crap, this could be... I think we're actually on world record pace right now, if I'm not completely mistaken.
See, you don't say that. It's marathon luck. Now we're not going to get there.
I can definitely tell you after this quest. Oh, that's interesting. I think it's a really good time here. I mean, sadly, I don't have my splits up, so I can't tell you for sure. But just looking at it, it's looking good.
Well, we've already had one world record this this marathon. We'd love to have a second one, and you've been playing great so far. So, looking forward to seeing how this one turns out.
Oh yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, so basically the next quest, Eternal Blue Sky, it has 3 parts. So the first part is basically getting into the can, and so you need to kill in the first part. You need to kill everybody, and then you just have to run until the place where the duel is going to take place, and then you have a duel with the cotton can, and then you have another fight. So after this, you are not going to use resources. So you basically all the things that you have used now for doing this as fast as possible.
Don't let him get behind us!
And you have all your friends here, like Prince Ichikawa, Lady Masako, Yuna, Norio. All people is here helping you to get to the can.
Yeah.
And you can see in most of the parts you have these red barrels with black gunpowder bombs that you can use, obviously, for the enemies. Yeah, they help a lot.
Come on, Yuna.
Yeah, and yeah, you need to talk to Yuna here, and she is
Taking
going to
her
take
sweet
this
ass time.
big time. Yeah, of getting there.
Plan worked.
You can reset from save there, and she spawned there, but it will be the same, I think.
Yeah, I think the loading times would, you know, make that longer. Unless you had a PlayStation 5, maybe then it would have been worthwhile to do that.
Yeah, so the next part is just Jin running as fast as he can for getting to the can. You don't need to kill anybody here. But I will assume that all the people that played this game first time kill everybody here the first time that they did this run. I mean this quest. And this is Viking favorite tree, which does this weird movement for some reason when you get close to it.
The dancing tree.
Yeah.
Just have to reach the manor house.
And yeah, this is basically running to the end. And okay, so we said that Jin is using the ghost armor, and then he uses the Jin Sakai armor, the clan Sakai armor, and now, as you can see, Aish put the Gosaku armor. And this armor is only for the duel that come next, which is against the Gotunkan. And the Sakai armor was like damage boost, and this one has more staggering damage, which is the white line that the enemies had over the health, which is you need to break their guard so you can do damage. So this armor is made for that, for breaking the guard as soon as possible so you can do some sweet damage to the enemy.
Vengeance! Vengeance! The petty wish of a child!
And as in the same way, the other duels, this one also has cycles. And we don't use the Dance of Wrath as much here because we actually are saving the Dance of the resolve for the next the final fight. So we try to do that not that much. And yeah, so Gotunkan was defeated, but he's not dead, and he just poisoned Jin there.
Did I skip a sword clash?
No.
I think I only did one, didn't I?
I don't think so. I think you did it too. Could be wrong.
Okay. Because I
Yeah,
was
so
a little bit... No matter. Go on.
I changed outfit again. He put the Kensei armor, and this armor increases by a lot the amount of ghost weapons damage that you do. And here you only need to kill the can. And this fight also has 2 cycles. And also you want to get your ghost stance with this guy, and this armor has a charm that
going on.
Instead of losing your whole ghost stance, you only lose 1 death. So now with this thing that Edge is do it now, killing those enemies, now he has his ghost stance back. And this armor also let you get resolve real quick, and you need resolve for the final battle. So yeah, the cotton can he don't die with one stroke of the ghost dance, but he is receiving a lot of damage and he can damage you while that's happening. And that was the cotton can fight.
Was a little bit interesting in the first fight of the boat fight, like, I don't know, the sticky bombs just somehow didn't stick to him, they kind of just disappeared, and he was able to quite openly attack me for a while. That was really weird. But, yeah, otherwise, it was a good fight, I guess.
The Khan is dead, but his army is still here.
It worked out quite well.
And when they're gone, what happens then?
We start
Yeah,
new
and even
lives.
though now we already killed the can, we avoid the can ships
Bring hope to our
with
people.
poison, go to the mainland. But as you can see, the game hasn't
If
finished
anyone
yet.
can change the samurai's mind, it's you.
Because well, Jin keep being an outlaw, so he had to work with that now. Are we still in world record pace?
Kinda. This could be a very low 318 or very high 317. And if it's a 17, it would be a world first 317. So. Well, basically, I'm on a very good pace to beat my world record. That's what I'm trying to say here.
Nice.
So, you know, don't jinx it.
Yeah, so again, I'm Jin. I put the Gosaku armor, and in this next cutscene, he's going to appear with another outfit, which is the running attire. But as I said before, if you have one outfit with a charm loadout, and you in the cutscene like change outfit, that charm loadout is going to be charged to the next outfit. So even though now Jin has the running attire, he still has the charms for the Gosaku armor. And those charms are basically the same against the Cotton Can, and that's focused on staggering damage, which is again breaking the guard of the enemy, so you can do some good damage
Will you remain
um,
the Toho of Tsushima?
while the guard is broken.
The Shogun asked me to train his warriors to fight the Mongols.
Good. They won't give up until they've conquered all of Japan.
So yeah, story-wise, Lord Shimura now tells Jin that Clan Sakai has been disbanded, and Jin officially is not a samurai anymore, and another samurai clan will go ahead and claim his belongings, you know, his land, his estate, and whatnot. So both of them will now go to the cemetery where where Jin's family is buried to pay their respects one last time before Jin will have to leave.
Much too kind.
Yeah, and we have some time here before the run finish, so if maybe somebody wants to say something.
Thank you, my lord.
If you got another donation to read, or if you want to plug something, go ahead. Now's your chance.
I don't have an army.
Every day, more people flock to your cause. The Shogun is concerned. I am concerned.
You have nothing to fear.
When the new clans arrive, will people bow to their samurai
All right, maybe not.
or betray them?
So yeah, this is the final battle, and again, it's faster just getting off the horse and going on foot. And
You taught our people to disobey
we're going to
their
again speedrun some poetry, and I have to say it's a really nice way to finish the run, doing some shield thing before the final fight.
Do I risk it? I don't have enough. I don't have enough resolve for 3 Dances of Wrath. However, you get some resolve during the sword clashes in the duel, and that could give me enough so I can use 3. but it might not happen. And then I would have to do the third phase of the fight kinda normally. It could lose me time. So am I going to risk that?
Yeah, so you can imagine that the final fight is against Lord Shimura, and well, at the end you can choose if he dies or he lives, and time is going to stop when I press X.
Oh, by
when
the way,
he
time
decides.
is coming up very soon, in about a
Yeah.
minute. So, you know, get ready on that for when we call for it. Like basically
Yeah,
a minute or
so-
so away.
Divides our souls.
So this could be a very high 317.
So yeah, we speedrun some poetry here. This is the final haiku of the game. And yeah, it's a duel with Lord Chimura, and again, Edge has the Gosaku armor for the staggering damage, and yeah, Lord Chimura is actually
Let me go in peace.
quite hard to beat. Yes, you can see the white line over his health. You need to break that so you can do some damage.
Actually good enough.
Fear the Shogun.
Yeah. Nice.
Let me go in peace.
You can see with the Dance of Wrath, you do damage and then you have like a good amount of time.
Get ready on time.
Yeah, time is coming.
Time. So for me, that was a 317.57.
Nice.
No, wait. Sorry. I was a little bit, because the stream was behind. 318.4. Sorry. Damn it! 4 seconds. Oh well, five. There was a little bit of a delay between me saying that and it happening on screen. No. Oh well.
It's still world record though.
This is a world record. Yeah, the previous world record was a 3 hour 19 minutes and 40 seconds. So this is about 1.5 minutes faster than the previous world record. And the overall fastest time for any difficulty, because I had a time on hard difficulty, which was 318 and something. I really would have liked to get that 317. Damn it. That was the Komatsu Forge battle that screwed me up on that.
Yeah.
That was Komatsu Forge. I'll blame it on that. But yeah, just for the ending choice, normally what we do in the speedrunning community, when we get a PB, we kill Lord Shimura. And when we didn't get a PB, we spare him. And that is why I chose the spare ending there.
No, the kill. You choose the kill.
Yeah, the kill. Sorry.
You keep missing that.
I actually on accident did that one time. For donation incentive, we usually have the kill or spare option at the end of the run in marathon settings, and people donated for kill, and I don't know why, but I chose the spare ending because I was just so in it. I think that was actually in the previous world record video where that exact thing happened, so I'm kind of glad that we now got to do the right thing and killing him. But yeah guys, that is the run. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for the organizers for having us. This was a lot of fun as always. Thank you for Charlatan for joining me here, and of course thank you to the Ghost of Tsushima community. You guys are awesome. Keep running the game. And yeah, Charlatan, if you have anything to say.
No, I mean, always a pleasure to be here with you. This is an awesome cause, so hopefully you guys meet the goal. And yeah, if anybody is interested on speedrunning this game, is really cool, it's really chill. Again, we are kind of a small community, but we are really caring for newcomers. So yeah, join us and keep running Ghost of Tsushima.
All right. That's basically everything from us.